as we begin this broadcast across multiple streams, multiple channels, multiple networks. We are now broadcasting live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, and Instagram as well. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. My name is Brendan, aka Wolf Shield, Skull Babylon, Mystic Spider-Man, welcoming you to a very special live tarot readings with Wolf marathon that we are doing today. So hang tight as we just get things started right off the bat. If you're tuned into this on Facebook, please begin sharing this broadcast with your friends. We're going to be literally just like doing as many tarot readings as we can over the next several hours, while also being able to invite people to support on Patreon as well. And so thank you again so much, everyone, for your support, for joining in. If you would like to be able to get a reading right off the start, these are your basic instructions. Step 1, share this broadcast, share it a few times, share it to a few groups if you don't mind, get more people tuned into this broadcast, and then stand by for further instructions. You can also drop a 333 into the comments to let me know that you are interested in getting a reading on air. And I'm going to begin sharing this broadcast to a few different places, and we'll keep an eye on things, and we'll get some momentum building. So that's the objective here, is to like create awesome value for the community, invite more people to tune in, and that happens when we help share this broadcast into a few different groups at the same time. So for those of you who are tuning into this live, again, if you would not only just like to be able to help this broadcast, help the community, but also to be able to be eligible for a reading from the chat, then these are your instructions. Step 1, share this broadcast wherever, share it to a few groups, share it to like however many groups you want. If we can get like 40 people tuned into this, that's awesome. And again, that's just going to help more people to be able to align with the value that we're providing here during these broadcasts. So we're just getting started here, and I know there's several people here who are familiar with these broadcasts, so thank you once again for joining in. I'm doing my part by helping share this to a few different pages, and once we've gotten at least over 10 people in the chat, then we're going to do our first reading. And throughout the broadcast today, like, we're doing this in 2 parts. So right now we're going till 4 p.m. EST. After that, I'm taking a bit of a break because, hey, I'm a human, you may have heard. And after that, we will resume at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the link for that is in the information on Facebook as well as in YouTube. And you can find the broadcast. Make sure you subscribe on youtube.com/SkullBabylon, or even just make sure that you are synced up to my Facebook page as well. So give me 2 seconds here. I'm just in the process of sharing this to a couple pages. And again, once we've got all that set up, then we will begin our first reading for someone in the chat. And again, like, our objective is to do like as many readings as we can during this broadcast, while also being able to help invite people to support on Patreon. And our objective is to get at least 10 new Patreon signups during this broadcast, or at least during the day as well. So I'll go over some of the instructions in a little bit more detail as we go. Right now, I'm just finishing sharing this to a few different pages, and I'll give some shout outs to everybody who is tuned in right now. So Aloha John, thank you so much for joining in. Alyssa joining in on YouTube and Facebook, thank you so much, everyone. And for those of you tuning in on Instagram, swipe up on my Instagram story to be able to join in as well. And so, like I said, I'll give a little bit more of the instructions on how these readings work. I don't do these as like psychic readings or fortune telling. This is really more about us being able to receive a message of inspiration from the universe, to be able to receive any sort of message from the universe, for us to be able to hold space as a team, and for myself to be able to help serve as the conduit for that. So again, if you would like to be eligible for a reading right off the start, we're going to pick someone from the chat. Your first instructions are to share this broadcast to however many pages, however many groups you want to share it to, and that is greatly appreciated. So I'm just sharing this just to a couple more groups, and once I've done that, we will go right into our first reading. And then again, our objective is to just kind of like go like right from reading into reading. And if you would like to jump the line, meaning that if you would like to just be able to be like, yo, I want to be the next person, sign up to the Patreon, and that's a monthly micro contribution to support artists. In particular, like, that's what the website is. So I have my own Patreon, and that's supporting the work that I do as a full-time conscious media creator. For those of you who haven't met me, my name is Brendan. I'm an award-winning Canadian filmmaker and dedicated to creating conscious media for the past 10 years. And I'm the director for Paradigm Shift Central. I do a lot of like really cool YouTube videos. We do team broadcasts, and through this broadcast, we're also inviting people to be able to connect with the team as well. And you can find a link for our team chat in the info on YouTube and on Facebook as well. So Alyssa, thank you so much for joining in. I'm going to be keeping an eye on the chats as best as I can. And again, let's get as many people tuned into this as we can. And once we've gotten about 10 people tuned in on Facebook, then we will begin our first reading. So if you are tuned into this, help us kind of create that momentum, help us build that momentum by beginning to share this to a few different groups, a few different pages. That's a really, really important thing to be able to assist with when it comes to these broadcasts, is to be able to like create that momentum. So begin by sharing this to a few different groups. And if you are interested in being able to get a reading right off the start to be eligible for one, drop a 333 in the comments. That way, so I can just gauge and make sure that and see how many people we have ready and interested for a reading. And again, we're going to be broadcasting over the next several hours, so the more people that we can get tuned in, the better. And I know some of you are like connected with some super awesome spiritual groups on Facebook, so share this to those groups. So again, if you would like to be eligible for one of the first readings, very simple, here are your instructions. Share this broadcast, share it to a few groups, share it to your pages, share it to wherever you choose, and then from there drop a 333 in the comments and let me know that you want a reading, and then stay tuned for the additional instructions from there as well. So give me 2 seconds here as I'm just helping invite a couple more people. And just calling in a couple people to be able to tune in. So again, our objective with this broadcast is to be able to provide like awesome value for the community, to be able to help provide people with like clarity, inspiration, insight, motivation, to be able to help build as a global team of shifters, for people to be able to help come together, to connect, to be inspired, to move forward on their path of helping shift consciousness. And I'll tell you more about what we got going on within the global project and how you too can be a part of it as well. So let's see, how many people do we got tuned in right now? Aloha to Ravel, Nicole, Sai Sister, Michael, John, thank you so much for joining in. John, happy to be able to connect, dude. Literally just came across your art and it's super, super beautiful. All right, so let's see, we got about 4 people tuned in on Facebook as it is right now. So if you haven't already yet, please share this broadcast. Again, once we've gotten about 10 people tuned in on Facebook, then we will begin our first reading. And then from there, again, like the momentum builds, and that's our objective. We want to be able to like keep a maintained like average of at least like 10 people tuned in throughout these broadcasts as we keep going. And once we've gotten about that first group of 10 people, we'll get right into this. So if you haven't already yet, these are your instructions. Share this broadcast, and then stay tuned in the comments for the additional instructions, and drop a 333 to let me know that you are here and that you would like to be able to get a reading. And if you guys can quickly just drop an 1111 in the chat, make sure that my audio sounds okay. That is super, super appreciated, because you guys are basically like my back end like tech support in this. So if the audio sounds kind of like off at any point, please let me know right away, because you guys will be the first ones to hear it. So thank you again. We got Taylor in the chat, Tasty Placebo. We got a few of our Patreon supporters already in the chat. So yeah, again, if you haven't already yet, share this to a few groups, and once we've gotten about 10 people tuned in, then we will do our first reading. And for those of you tuning in on Instagram, go ahead and swipe up on my Instagram story to be able to tune in there. And so again, my name is Brendan. We've been doing these tarot reading broadcasts for quite a while, and this is an awesome way for us to be able to like see what message the universe has for us. And especially right now, we're at this very, very critical time of a new moon in Scorpio, getting ready for some are you guys excited about the Halloween Mercury retrograde? Pretty spooky. Like, I know I'm excited for that. So anyway, so even just by being a part of this broadcast, again, just see this as a chance to like hang out with like-minded, like-hearted people. This is about being able to build community as well. So thank you again, everyone. We've got about 5 people tuned in on Facebook. So let's share this to a few more groups. And again, once we've gotten at least 10 people on Facebook, then we will go right into our first reading once we are ready to do so. And then we will keep going from reading to reading from there. And if you would like to be able to jump the line to be able to get a reading on air, all you have to do is sign up to the Patreon, which is a monthly micro contribution to support the ongoing work that we are creating within the Paradigm Shift Central project, and through lots of inspirational conscious media and these tarot broadcasts. And you can check that at patreon.com/Brendan Colton. And our objective during today is to get 10 Patreon signups during the broadcast. So during like today. So again, we're going to be coming back a little bit later today. So this is a little bit experimental because we don't always do the broadcast at this time of the day. But when we do them, it's always a chance for like new people to tune in because, hey, I know there's like some people on the other side of the world right now who really appreciate the fact that we're doing the broadcast at this time so that they can tune in. So thank you again, everyone. Tanya, thanks for joining in. Sai Sista, again, Taylor, Ravel, Nicole, Michael, John, anybody else tuned in. Again, let's share this to a few groups if you haven't yet, and then we'll get right into our first reading. So if you would like to be eligible for a first reading from the chat, the way how we do this is that we pick someone from the chat using a synchronistic method, and then from there, we basically, again, like we do it in such a way where the readings, they're as much for the individual as they are for the collective as well. So that's the thing. If you are here, then this message is for you as well. So I'm excited to be able to get into our first reading, but before we do that, let's build up the momentum and invite a few more people to join in. So we've got about 7 people tuned in on Facebook, and probably about like even just like not too many people tuned in on YouTube right now. So the main audience is going to be on Facebook. So let's share this to a few more groups. So if you haven't yet, if you're in some spiritual Facebook groups, share this broadcast to a few different places, and then from there we'll get right into the reading. And our objective is to just kind of go from like reading to reading to reading right through the entire broadcast. So it'll be pretty fun, and we'll take breaks as need be, because like I said, obviously despite what theories may hint at, I am not actually a robot. So all right. Okay, so we've got about 7 people tuned in on Facebook right now. So let's do a quick check. If you would like to be eligible for a reading, drop a 333 in the chat right now. And then that way, so I can just see how many people we got who are looking for a reading. And if this is your first time here, drop a 222 in the chat as well. So if this is your first time here, thank you again. The momentum's starting to build. We're almost at 10 viewers on Facebook. So here are your basic instructions. If you would like to be eligible for a reading, step 1, share this broadcast. Step 2, stay tuned for the next instructions. The basic instructions are, I'm going to give you a number, and then the 5th person who enters that number into the chat will be the first person who we choose to do the reading on behalf of. But know that as we do this, we also do this in a way where even if you're not the person who we end up choosing, this message is still for you, because this is very much like a community reading. This is a collective reading as well. And we've been doing these for quite a while, so it's like really exciting to be able to have new people joined in. So thank you again. Leah, thank you so much for joining in. Leah, thank you so much for joining in. Andreas, thank you so much. Again, everybody, for being here from wherever you are. All right, okay, so let's get ready to move right into this first into this first reading, and we'll do it this way. We'll do it for the 4th person to enter this number into the chat. And as we're doing this, keep sharing this broadcast, and we'll just go from reading to reading to reading. And I'll explain a little bit more about the Patreon as we go. So if you would like to be eligible for the first reading in the chat, I'm going to give you a number. So for everybody just joining here, if you haven't yet, share this broadcast with your friends. That's like how you get eligible for a reading. Share this broadcast with your friends. Next step, I'm going to give you a number. And yeah, we'll go with the 5th person. The 5th person to enter this number into the chat will be the person who we choose the reading for. And I'm going to tell you what that number is in a second. So don't enter this number right away. I'm going to tell it to you. Take a breath. Listen to your heart. We're gauging this on multiple chats, and then enter the number into the chat. So when you're ready, here's the number. Thank you again, everyone. We're at like 16 viewers on Facebook, so that's good. More momentum's going to build. Eventually, like, let's get up to like 50 viewers as we do this. So here's the number for everybody who wants to be eligible for this first reading. We're going to choose someone from the chat synchronistically. This is the way we do it, but it works well. So the number that I'm going to give you, the 5th person to enter this number in the chat, don't enter it more than once, only once, be fair, and understand that there's multiple chats. So we're looking at the Facebook and the YouTube. So the 5th person to enter this number into the chat, the number is the number 444. So enter 444 into the chat. Don't enter it in right away, and the 5th person who enters in that number will be the first person that we do this first reading for. Quick shout outs. Thank you so much, Natasha. Thank you so much, Sheila, Tracy, Grant, So, Wolf, thank you so much for joining in. Andreas, again, we'll keep an eye on those numbers as we're coming in. And again, our objective during this broadcast is to do pretty much as many tarot readings as we can over the next like 3 hours. And then also to be able to invite people to support on the Patreon as well. And I'll explain a little bit more about that as we go. And also to be able to see like what message the universe has for us. All right, so here come the numbers. I'll let you know. And again, don't enter it in more than once. All right. Okay, cool. So we got our first person for the reading. The first person that we're going to do this for is going to be for Grant. So Grant Wells in the Facebook chat. Thank you so much for joining. And again, if this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you so much. Be sure to connect to my Instagram, my YouTube. I'll post some links for those in the comments so that you can check those out as well. And we'll get right into this first reading for Grant. And as we're getting set up for this, if you would like to be able to jump the line to be able to be the next person that we do a reading for, all you have to do is sign up for the Patreon, and then that will allow you to be like the next person that we do the reading for. And then otherwise, we'll just like pull another person from the chat. So the Patreon, I'll just explain real quick. The Patreon is a super awesome way to be able to help support the ongoing work that I do for the community. I'm a full-time conscious media creator. I've been creating videos for 10 years. And here's the other cool thing, and I'll just explain this real quick. When you sign up to the Patreon, you can also get a super beautiful light guardian crystal for an additional pay what you wish contribution. So the light guardian crystals are handmade tools that we make within the project. And so you can sign up on Patreon to be able to get one of those as an additional pay what you wish. And you can also get other cool discounts, perks, and connections with the community. And when you sign up at the $11 level, you can get a Lumerian Light Guardian Crystal. So I'll explain more about that as we go. But in the meantime, let's get right into this first reading. And we'll keep an eye open for someone signing up to the Patreon while we're doing this reading at the same time. So Grant, if you're ready, go ahead and just let me know in the chat. Let me know that you're ready. And for everybody here, again, the intention of this broadcast is to be able to like connect as a team, connect as a community, to tap in with our heart, to tap in with gratitude, to be able to see what message the universe has for us to be able to cultivate inspiration, clarity, motivation, and for us to be able to grow as individuals who are helping change the world. Shifters, light guardians, people who are intentionally helping assist with a shift in consciousness through acts of creativity and compassion. That is you. That is why you are here. So thank you for doing that, and let this broadcast be a way to just fuel our spiritual like energy. This is like giving us that spiritual energy to just continue to do awesome stuff with. So Grant, I invite you to just connect with your heart space. Everybody here, practice this as a team reading, as a team reading that we are doing. For those of you on Instagram, swipe up on my Instagram story to tune in on YouTube, and you can hit the like button there as well. So let's get ready to go right into this. Please keep sharing the broadcast, and thank you so much for your support. Your support is super, super appreciated. So let's get right into this. So Grant, let me know that you're ready in the chat. And for everybody here, sweet, I see your comment. Everybody here. All right, and that was for, so that was for the fifth person. So Grant was the fifth person who entered that into the chat. So we're doing this first one for Grant. So for those of you here, please keep sharing this broadcast to share the value that we're creating with the community. Awesome. All right. So everybody here, just take a moment, stop typing in the chat, and just connect with your breath. Put your hand on your heart and just drop yourself into this space of gratitude. When we do these readings, I don't do these readings as fortune telling. I don't do them as psychic readings. The intention for this is for you, Grant, for us as a team to be able to receive a message from the universe, for us to be able to hold space together, and for me to be able to practice being the conduit. So just bring yourself into that space of gratitude, into that space of excitement, that space of love. And Grant, all I instruct you to do very simply is to be able to bring yourself into the intention of show me what I need to see. And you're going to take a few breaths here. This is how we do this during this broadcast, and it works really well. And after you've taken a few breaths, you're going to type now into the chat. And then once you type now, then we will pull the card for you synchronistically. So take a few more breaths. Give me a couple extra seconds here to charge up the deck with a little bit of flowetry. Guys like my sound effects? And so here we are once again as tribe to continue to spread our wings as we fly oh so high, as we change the world, as we change the dream, as we change the direction of these streams, branching in and out as above so below. We remember what it is that we truly know, the wisdom within our heart, the magic within our eyes, to allow ourselves to see through the illusions of these lies. And so as we come into this moment here to expand, we allow ourselves to stand in this land. There's the now from Grant, and there's the split of the deck, and there's the first card that we got there. I feel like I should do like play-by-play as I'm doing it. It's like it's like, and here comes the split, and here comes the draw, and there's the draw, and what card do we have pulled for us today? Well, let's see. Alright, so the very first card that we have pulled, not just for Grant, but again, for anybody. If you are here, this message is for you. So thank you again for being here, for adding your support. And the first card that we have for today is the Princess of Cups. So charging this up with the Light Guardian Crystal. Give me 2 extra seconds here. I'm going to open this up into the book. And this is the Ananda Tarot deck. And what I do here is I read from the book. And then from there, I will go into more detail and explain to you just kind of like my interpretation and kind of like bring in some intuitive insights as to like what else this message is sharing with us. And also shout out to my dog. He's sleeping behind me. Let me just see if I can give him a quick cameo. There he is. He's kind of where can you? That's his. Is that his head or his butt? Oh, that's his butt. His head's like right behind me. But anyways, he's there too. That's Dallin. So, all right. So looking at this card here again, as we're doing this first reading, for whoever would like to be able to jump the line for the next reading, go ahead and sign up for the Patreon. Our objective here during these broadcasts today is to be able to get at least 10 new Patreon signups during today. And again, Patreon is a super awesome way to be able to help support not only the work that I do, but also the community that we are building. And that's a monthly micro contribution of only $3 to $5. It only takes 3 minutes to sign up on Patreon, and that helps support the ongoing broadcasts that we do and lots of cool stuff. Plus you can get a Light Guardian Crystal for an additional pay what you wish contribution, and other cool things. And for those of you on Instagram, swipe up on my Instagram story to tune in on YouTube. And let's get right into this first reading. So thank you again, everyone. We'll keep an eye open for that first Patreon sign up, and let's get right into this. So awesome. Quick, oh sweet. Okay, you know what? We already have our first Patreon sign up. So thank you so much to Leia. Thank you. Super appreciate it. So Leia, you're going to be the next person that we do the reading for. And for anybody else who wants to get in line behind Leia, go ahead and sign up for the Patreon, and you can also get a private reading as well. So thank you, Leia. First Patreon sign up, and I'll update the screen info after this reading. So let's take a look at this reading. And Grant, as you're here, just be present. And for everybody here, again, if you are here, this message is for you. And I'll do my best to like read some of the comments. You guys are a part of this discussion. So Princess of Cups, what do we got here visually? Oh, look at my Light Guardian Crystal. It's like shining into the light, right? Okay, so we have this beautiful image of like this emerald green woman on the card. Again, for those of you on Instagram, tune in on my YouTube that way so you can like see the camera better. And we have her in this almost like what appears to be like a frame or kind of like a window, and it's very abstract. There's a lot of like kind of like just like a collage of colors behind her, and this red line kind of underneath, which is very interesting. It almost kind of, I feel like that's like almost like some sort of code that's in that red line. And you can see she's got like her arms in this very interesting posture, kind of like a dance, almost like kind of like posing as if someone would be like drawing a picture of her or something like that. Very elegant. And you can see there's like a little cup that she is holding there as well. So that's just the and I forgot to mention, she's also a freaking mermaid. How did I miss that? You can see she got like her like mermaid fins there. So showing that real quick for those of you on the Instagram. So again, for those of you on the Instagram, tune in on YouTube so you can see the full picture. All right, so let's get right into this first reading. Thank you again, everyone, for your support. Thank you, Leia, our newest Patreon supporter, and thank you for helping us provide this support for the community. So let's get right into this. Wow, Leia, named after Leia Skywalker. Super cool. All right, so for everybody here, listen, open your heart, and just be present for this reading. If you are here, this message is for you. See, watch as I kind of like shift vibration. I mean, it's still the same, but it's like I can kind of like use my throat chakra to kind of like drop into a different resonance as we explain this message. So just kind of close your eyes, meditate, be present. And thank you again, everyone. Please keep sharing this broadcast so that more people can receive this message. Princess of Cups, the image. In front of a colorful stage, a female fable creature steps out from a black background framed in gold. Meaning, through the connection of the earth and water elements, the creative abilities of the psyche blend with the shape-giving powers of matter. The Princess of Cups represents the female side of the water element. Fantasy and the ability to bring things into reality describes a reserved yet preserving character. The Princess of Cups creative being can give form to her long-kept ideals and dreams with the help of subconscious soul powers. The object of observation here, however, is not only the realization of fantasy in the material world, but also the putting into action of human values, so that these can be expressed in a friendly and conciliatory manner. Solid results in the outer world show us unmistakably what our emotions can bring about. I'll say that again. Solid results in the outer world show us unmistakably what our emotions can bring about. Through this, the thought of becoming aware is brought to the forefront. Through the Princess of Cups, we receive the indication to develop our talents and use them in practical manner. Above and beyond that, it can also indicate that we will reap the appropriate recognition and reward for our efforts. I'll reread that. Above and beyond that, it can also indicate that we will reap the appropriate recognition and rewards for our efforts. In any case, it concerns, among other things, concrete, obtainable results based on the foundation of spiritual values within community. Astrological significance: Moon, Venus, Cancer, Earth, and water elements. Keywords: realization of ideals, healing arts, emotional depth, ability to create, compassion, self-knowledge, artistic expression, aesthetic sensitivity. Traditional meaning: taking advantage of opportunities, readiness to help, the power to carry things out, affection. Very, very, very cool. All right. Just going to do my best to keep an eye on the chat here as we are going here. So again, for anybody here, at any point, if there's like stuff where you're just like, you just feel like you want to be able to communicate something from the chat, please feel free to leave your comments in the chat. Again, your voice is important to this conversation as well. So, adding my own intuitive interpretation of this card. This is a very, very powerful card, and it's honestly like, I'll often say that like, oh, this is like one of my favorite cards, but this card really is something that I relate to, and something that I'm sure a lot of people here relate to. So for Grant, for you to be able to receive this card, and for anybody else who is tuned into this, this is a very powerful card that really reminds me of an important part within our journey when we actually begin to understand on a deeper level how we are actually like manifesting like spiritual values, spiritual ideas, spiritual concepts into material form, to be actually able to like bring forth things into this world that are going to help inspire other people, that are going to be able to help them connect with their emotional depth. A big part in this is the idea of healing arts. And when you think about it, like arts in themselves, like what is art? Like art is literally a mirror for the soul to be able to see itself. And so this card is kind of reminding us of the importance of being a conduit for higher conscious ideas into the physical, into mainstream culture, and to be able to understand not just why that's important, but also how we can do it. How we can do that by being able to like tap into our authentic sensitivity, to be able to connect with our emotional waters. Anytime that we have a cup that is often associated with the emotion, the emotional waters, the intuitive and psychic abilities. And so with this card, it is really encouraging us to be able to like step into our heart, to bring forth the magic of our heart, to be able to bring it forth into this world through the material representation of our art. I mean, as silly as this sounds, you could just kind of like even focus on the idea that you can't spell heart without art. And I think that in itself is actually like a bit of a paradigm shift when you think about it. It's like, wait a second, if nothing in this reality is an accident and the word art is literally in heart, then oh my goodness, does that mean that heart and art are actually more intimately connected than what it means, than what we are commonly perceiving it to be? And the answer is absolutely. Because there is no piece of art that exists in this world that does not come through the heart. And so you can kind of think of like the visual image in this card as being, again, the green in it, that emerald green, oftentimes associated with that heart chakra color. Again, a lot of people are familiar with that emerald green. Even kind of reminds me of like the emerald tablets of Thoth, like the idea of kind of like that ancient wisdom, that ancient knowing. And so this card is a super important card for being able to just like give us that little bit of that reminder that you are here. Grant, anybody listening to this card, you are here to not only be an artist, but to be a heartist. And I want you to really say that word to yourself. Say, like, put your hand on your heart right now and say, I am a heartist. And what does that mean? What does that mean? I mean, again, for me, art has been such a passionate part of my life. Like the idea of storytelling, the idea of being able to create like a super cool YouTube video that I know I can encode with intention. I can encode with spiritual messages. I can encode with spiritual values. I can encode with spiritual wisdom. And then someone will see it. And on the surface, they might just be like, oh, wow, that was a cool YouTube video. But on a deeper layer, there's kind of like this code. And that's kind of, I think now I understand like what this red line is. It's almost like this code hidden within the art. So visually, you might have something in front of someone and they might watch it the first time and they might just be entertained. But on a deeper level, there's actually kind of like a subconscious message that is being directly encoded into their heart. And that's why you can create like something really, really powerful as a piece of art. Think of music. Oftentimes, when people experience music, they'll like have a reaction to it where they won't even be able to put it into words. But by the end of the experience, they'll just be able to be like, whoa, something's different. Something in me has changed. Something literally in me. And like, why do we say that? In me. And we think about that. It's like the connection with the heart. And what is the heart? Again, the heart, being the heart chakra, is literally a portal to like other spiritual wisdom, spiritual realms. Like very simply put, I think of like the chakras as, again, like being basically like portals for information beyond the present moment, information from beyond this physical dimension, information within this ocean of energy. Literally, like information from the future will come to us through our heart as much as it comes from the past. And so that's why with this card, it's really reminding us that one of the virtues of how to be able to create art is by being able to listen to our heart, because it's through our heart and our other chakras that we actually receive messages from the universe to be able to like know what to create, to be able to like hear within our heart. Like when you think about it, that idea of like hearing the calling of your heart, basically what's happening is that when you get good at connecting with your heart, check in with yourself and just be like, like everybody right now, like what do I want to create? What am I excited to create? What am I here to be a conduit of? What am I here to be an ambassador for? And if you practice listening to that, the universe will be able to like bring forth that message and to be able to say to you like, okay, like you're going to create some awesome poetry. You're going to create some awesome music. You're going to create an awesome YouTube video. You're going to create a funny meme, whatever it may be. You're going to do it not just for you, but because your art, that message coming through your heart, is actually consciousness doing what it can to help wake itself up. So this card is a lot to do with being in service to community. In any case, it concerns, among other things, concrete, obtainable results based on the foundation of spiritual values within community. So how can we, as a call to action, how can we show up as better heartists, as the heartists that we are, as ambassadors and bridges between higher conscious ideas and mainstream culture, to be able to like bring forth this intuitive knowledge, this self-knowledge, this artistic expression that is going to inspire other people to practice expressing their heart, to practice to creating their art. And so again, key words in this: realization of ideals, healing arts, emotional depth, ability to create, compassion, self-knowledge, artistic expression, aesthetic sensitivity, traditional meaning, taking advantage of opportunities, readiness to help, the power to carry things out, affection. So this card is a really, again, kind of like a Cancerian card where it's basically like saying, it's asking, it's inviting you to ask, what is needed? What is needed from you as an artist? And again, that doesn't mean to go out and create something right this second. Maybe that means to be able to surround yourself with further inspiration, to be able to like nurture your creative expression and then create. You might not know what you're going to create just yet, but what you can do is go spend time in nature, go spend time down by the water, go spend time around other artists. Allow that to inspire you, literally inspire, like the spire of light within inside of you. And then through that, reflect again on that question of what is needed. What is needed? What message is going to be of value? Because every single one of us is a nexus for community, is a nexus for a message to come through. And you never know. This is the most powerful thing that I've learned over my years of doing this. You never know how important your art may be to someone else. And that may be something as simple as a post on Facebook or a post on Instagram. It could be something quite simple. It could be a little quote. But for someone else, synchronistically, they're going to see that and they're going to see it at the right time. And they're going to be like, whoa, I needed to hear that. That was medicine for my soul. That healed me. That helped inspire me more than you may know. And so again, just wrapping up on this card, this is a very, very powerful card, really encouraging us to connect to that inner artist, to connect with our emotional sensitivity, and to show up in service through the magic of art, through the magic of creation, through the magic of storytelling, through the magic of song, through the magic of artistic expression, through the magic of being able to create frames, mirrors, doorways, portals for the universe to be able to see more of itself. People are waking up within this world because of your art, because of our art, because of our stories, because of our voice. And so encouraging you, Grant, and everybody else here to continue to make space within your life for that practice of creative expression. And just to wrap it up on this note, approaching this as a practice, bring in that element of playfulness. That is so, so important. How many adults these days, like, they're afraid to play. They've actually forgot how to connect with their inner child. If you were to give them a paintbrush, they wouldn't know what to do with it. They would be like, sorry, I can't do this. And it's like, wait, what? What do you mean you can't? You give it to a kid and they're going to be like, woo, right? So approach your creative expression as practice. That is how you develop it. That is how you make space for it. That is how you nurture it, by practicing it, by literally practicing it, releasing judgment, but giving yourself room to practice, allowing that conduit, that Allwin. Allwin is such a beautiful term. Allwin is kind of like the Nordic version of explaining that creative flow that moves through all things. And so when you get good at being an artist and opening your heart, you get good at allowing the Allwin to flow through you. And this is what this card represents: being a conduit for the Allwin, being a conduit for source, being a conduit for creativity, being a conduit for art that is changing the world, that is shifting the paradigms, that is creating community, and that is inspiring people in more ways than you may even know. So take advantage of those opportunities that the universe has in front of you to be able to practice creating. Don't wait for someone else's permission. Go practice some poetry. Go sing in the shower. Go outside, connect with nature. Go practice getting your paintbrush on the canvas. Go make some songs. Go make a video. Go share your heart. Do it, because this world needs it, and it's going to inspire others to do the same. Art is our superpower. Art changes the world. Art is magic, and so are you. So there's what we got here for the Princess of Cups. That's what I got coming through for that. So for anybody here, let me know, drop your comments in the chat and I'll read over some comments. Let me know how that resonates with you. Let me know, and just like add in your own explanations of kind of like how this resonates with you further. And let me know if this resonates with you. Drop an 1111 in the chat and you can let me know how that resonates with you. And again, Grant, let me know how this resonates with you as well. And we'll get ready to move into our next reading in the next second. And for anybody who would like an image of this, send me a message on Facebook and I can take a picture of the write-up and send you that, and then you could read it a little bit later. And I guarantee you, if you read it later, you'll like get even more insight from it as well. So Princess of Cups, our first reading for today. Very, very beautiful. We've got 100 more readings to go during this broadcast. Maybe, we'll see. All right, so thank you again, everyone. Quick intermission. Please feel free to continue sharing this broadcast with your friends. I'm going to read some comments as they come in through the chat. That's awesome. Leia saying, It resonates with me and my songwriting. That's beautiful. So Leia, we're doing the reading for you next, but it's great that you are here to be able to receive that message, because there's obviously like more. Again, any message that comes through here is going to like be relative in some way. So, all right, Leia, make sure you send me a direct message at some point, and I can definitely send you a picture for that as well. And so yeah, so for anybody here, make sure you just like send me a direct message, connect to my profile also as well, because we do like more of these readings. We're going to be doing this reading from now until 4 p.m. So we got about 3 hours, and then after that we're taking a couple hour break, and then I'll be back tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let's get right into our next reading. And our next reading is going to be for Leia. And again, for those of you who are here for the first time, please share this broadcast with your friends. Drop a 222 in the chat, let me know. And drop a 222 in the chat to let me know that it's your first time here. And if you would like to be able to be the next person that we do a reading for after Leia, go ahead and sign up for the Patreon. It only takes about 2 minutes to be able to sign up. And that's a monthly micro contribution to support the work that I do as a conscious media creator. And again, the intention of this broadcast is to be able to do a lot of tarot readings to provide a lot of value for the community, while also inviting people to support the work that I do on Patreon, which again, as an entrepreneur, is like what I do for my full-time commitment, and the support of the community helps make it possible. So what we may end up doing, we'll do a reading for Leia, and then again, I want to be able to like also do more readings for people right from the chat as well. So after this one for Leia, I'll keep an eye open for another Patreon supporter, but we may just do one right out of the chat as well. That way, so people in the chat can like make sure that they're like feeling the value of this as well. And we do want to be able to invite more people to sign up on Patreon. And again, when you sign up on Patreon, you can also get a beautiful light guardian crystal as an additional pay what you wish contribution. So here's a beautiful light guardian crystals. And again, how much do these cost? Very simple. They cost as much as you're willing to pay once you sign up for the Patreon for your first one at least. But after that, you can also get the 25% discount or up through questitemshop.com. And the links for that are in the video info as well on Facebook. And again, these are super dope, like handmade items by me. They're exclusive to the project. They look like ancient Atlantean technology, and they're basically like toys for adults, but they can also be used for like ceremony, for like dancing with. You can like give them to a child, and the child will like be like blown away by it. And you can also use them for like divination. You can use them for like energy work. You can even like hold them while dreaming. You can like put it on your hand and then like hold it while dreaming, which is very cool. So I'll explain more about that in a little bit. And also, when you sign up for the Patreon and order a light guardian crystal, you can also get some of the dope shift buttons that we have. And I'll just explain real quick, and then we'll get right into our next reading. The shift buttons are super awesome tools that we use to be able to help assist with the shift in consciousness. And when you sign up and on Patreon, you also get a discount for these. And then also, these have the website for Paradigm Shift Central on the rim, and they allow people to be able to connect with the project. So you can combine these with free hugs. That's why you can see the free hug sign behind me. Check out my YouTube. You'll see videos of me doing this where I'll do free hugs, and I'll give these to people, and you use these as tools to be able to like accelerate synchronicity, plant seeds, and assist with the shift in consciousness. So each one's got like a symbol on it that's meant to evoke synchronicity and start discussion. So with that said, we'll get right into our next reading. And thank you so much. We actually, I just saw it. Where did it go? Did I accidentally just remove the notification? I think I did. But we did just have, let me just double check. I think we did just have another Patreon sign up as well, and we did. Awesome. So thank you so much, Kaylee. Thank you so much. So give me 2 seconds here. I'm just going to update the on-screen information, and then we'll get right into our next reading for Leia, as in Princess Leia. So we're at 129, working towards our goal of 150. At 150, I'm going to release my exclusive interview with Sasquatch. So that's like a little incentive there as well. And when I say that, like it's gonna be like a more of like a parody interview, but actually quite real at the same time, because it won't be like I haven't like, well, I mean, I know there are people who like channel Sasquatch, like that's actually a real thing, but I want to like make like a kind of like a woke humor skit of like me interviewing Sasquatch, and that's like a real thing. So and check it out on my YouTube. There's like a lot of like funny videos that I've done on YouTube as well. So, so thank you, Leia, and thank you, Kaylee, so much for signing up on the Patreon. We'll do the next reading for you two after once we get right into this. So we'll keep an eye open for more Patreon signups. And again, our objective is to get at least 10 Patreon signups during today. So I am from London, Ontario, Canada. And just for those of you asking, and I see some people tuning in from Germany, from Norway, super, super cool. Again, that's why I wanted to do this at like this time of day. Grant, if you're still here, let me know how that last reading resonated with you. I didn't see a comment from you in the chat, so I'm not entirely sure if Grant is still here from earlier, but that's okay. All right, so for those of you here, let's get right into our next reading for Leia. So Leia, if you're ready, thank you so much again for your support on the Patreon. And again, I'll send you a message afterwards through Patreon with your discount code for the quest item shop, and also to be able to ask you if you would like to be able to get a light guardian crystal as well. And for anybody here, you can also connect to our team chat. And so for those of you here, please continue to share this broadcast with your friends so that more people can tune into this. And again, these readings are like made possible thanks to the support from our Patreon supporters for the community. So thank you, Patreon supporters. By you signing up on Patreon, you're helping us provide this awesome value for the entire community. So let's go right into this. All right, awesome. Kaylee tuning in from Paris, Ontario. Yo, Paris, Ontario. I went to the gem show there. That's awesome. Aloha, Wizbold. Thank you so much for tuning in. For those of you tuning in, oh, sweet, Wizbold, you made the jump from Instagram to YouTube. Thank you so much. For those of you on Instagram, swipe up on Instagram to tune in there. Let's see if we can get more people tuned in on Facebook. There's currently about 5 people tuned in on Facebook. Again, with Facebook, if you're tuned in, go ahead and share this to a few groups. As super, super appreciated, because again, it's about being able to provide the value that we're creating here as a community. So sweet. I love that we got people tuning in from Europe right now. Again, that's why I wanted to do these broadcasts at this time of the day, because we do hit the people in Europe. So Leia, let me know if you are ready for this reading, and we'll get right into it. Oh, cool. Kaylee was there too. Wow. Of course you were, right? How would you not be at the gem show? I know, right? That's really cool, Kaylee. Kaylee, and you're new? Like you just connected? That's so cool. So I'll just post a link again for the team chat. For anybody here, please connect to our Discord server. We do weekly broadcasts for the team for leading members. If you sign up at the $11 a month on Patreon, you can join as a leading member, which is like our private membership. And the really cool thing with that is that you can join for on-air broadcasts that we do, our synergy circles. Our next synergy circle is going to be an open mic, and that's going to be this Sunday. So let's get right into this reading for Leia. Thank you so much, Leia. And thank you again, everyone. So just inviting everyone here, connect with your hearts. And just slow down for a second. We'll just connect with our breath. A lot of excitement, a lot of energy, feeling the inspiration of the heart. Just allow ourselves to relax our face. And for everybody here, practice doing this as a team, as a community, to bring forth this message for not just for Leia, but for each other, for anybody listening. For us to be able to practice receiving messages from the universe, guidance, insight, inspiration. So Leia, connect with your heart space. Everybody here, connect with gratitude. Add a little bit of a sway to your body, as if you're just kind of dancing right now. Or you're just kind of like singing with your hand on your heart. And Leia, I invite you to bring forth the intention of show me what I need to see. Very simple, but very, very powerful. And just speak that with your heart and continue to breathe. And do this a few more times as I charge the deck. And when you are ready, type now into the chat. Beautiful. So I'm just going to charge the deck here with a little bit of flow tree. And so, my friends, here we are once again to play and have fun, to truly transcend, to transcend through the laughter and the joy. To remember that inside each and every one of us is that little girl and that little boy. So let us honor the child that is here in our heart, that is here to play, that is here to take part in this bigger shift that is unfolding throughout the land, in this place in which together we shall make our stand. And so let us rise together with compassion and love, and let us bring forth the messages from above. And here's the split for Leia, bringing forth the next card for the team, for her. And let's see what it is. Again, I love there's like always like this little like dopamine release, like when we like pull a new card. Like seriously, it reminds me of like opening like cards for like Magic the Gathering. Like whenever you like open up our newest Patreon supporter, one of our newest Patreon supporters is Cups 7. So give me 2 seconds here as I'm going to open up the deck. And again, for anybody here, if you haven't already yet, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Mystic Spider-Man. You can see the information up in the screen. So if you're watching this on desktop, just like connect to me on Instagram right now. And then you can follow me there. And also make sure that you're connected on YouTube as well. How you doing, Dallin? You sleeping? Yeah, he's sleeping. Okay. Like that Dallin's just hanging out here. He's a golden retriever, by the way. So, all right, 7 of Cups. Here we go. So as we're doing this, we'll keep an eye open for new Patreon signups as they come in. And the next reading that we will be doing will be for Kaylee in the YouTube chat. So thank you again, everyone. And thank you, Leia, for your support. And for everybody here, continue to keep sharing the broadcasts. And we'll get right into some more readings. And yeah, our objective is to do like as many readings as we can between now and 4 p.m. and then back at 6 p.m. So, all right. So here we go. Cups 7. So visually just explaining the card first, and then I'll read from the book. So Cup 7, what do we got here? So we've got this beautiful like pristine cup, presumably filled with like rich red wine. And we've got this like Mandela shape in the sky formed around the clouds, kind of almost like a moon dog, if you've seen those before. And then it's above this like rich horizon, and you can see there's like 6 cups in the distance, each one a little bit transparent, kind of like dancing in different directions. And this stream, this river kind of like flowing in the background, and the cup kind of standing on this pedestal, on this like edge of like this concrete slab. And again, you can see the sky. There's a few stars up in the top, but you can see the moon kind of peeking through this natural Mandela created from the clouds. So super, super beautiful, and that rich gradient in the cup as well. All right. Awesome. Another cups, right? I know, right? We'll just watch this. It's just going to be nothing but cups from here on out. So, all right. So for everybody here, thank you again. Continue to just listen, be present, and thank you for being a part of this experience. So remember, if you are here, this message is for you. 7 of Cups. The image. In the foreground of a full moon night, a glass filled with red wine stands in the center of a wide landscape. 6 more glasses disappear in the haze of the horizon. Meaning, wishes and unlived fantasies tear the real image of the world. When man holds on too tightly within. I'm going to reread that. Wishes and unlived fantasies tear the real image of the world when man holds on too tightly within. We see what we want to see because our view is colored by our subconscious, yet appearances are deceiving. Driven by a subconscious longing, at times, man chooses to escape the world in a state of intoxication that only leads him to the land of forgetfulness for a little while. If we are aware of the mechanics of the subconscious, we are able to avoid rude awakenings under certain circumstances. I'll reread that. If we are aware of the mechanisms of the subconscious, we are then able to avoid rude awakenings under certain circumstances. What arises from the wish to change one's perception allows itself to be used as a tool for inner and outer transformation. Whoever would like to change the world must begin with himself. I'll reread that. What arises from the wish to change one's perception allows itself to be used as a tool for inner and outer transformation. Whoever would like to change the world must begin with himself. The subconscious must be brought to the surface in order to bring subconscious drives under control of conscious mind. An inner stance that is ruled by uncontrolled, exuberant emotions can lead to obsessive imaginings. The contact with the higher self creates deep trust. The opening of spirit for higher intelligence creates a connection between the different aspects of life and bring them into harmony with each other. In order to meaningfully transform life, man needs a vision, which can be realized on all levels of existence. In becoming aware of his inner divine spark, man can become a co-creator in this divine order of life. Astrological significance. Moon, Neptune septile aspects. Keywords: illusion, unconsciousness, transformation, irrationality, fantasy, visionary thinking, imagination, dreams, trance state, visualization, uncovering the hidden, unprocessed feelings, subconscious longings. Traditional meaning: illusion, betrayal of self, escapism, false hopes and ideas, intoxication, loss of reality, sobriety. Okay, so like we said, another cups here. Very, very interesting and quite different from the previous card that we had with the Princess of Cups. And so what do we have here within this cup? This is a very interesting within this card. This is a very interesting card because this card is really like calling us into responsibility, while also really calling us into a place of power by allowing us to like gain control over our subconscious and over our unconscious habits that may in themselves be holding us back from our potential, by encouraging us to like fuel our imagination in healthy ways, opposed to like doing it in irrational ways that can kind of just like continue to prolong fantasies yet prevent us from achieving our goals. So what arises from the wish to change one's perception allows itself to be used as a tool for inner and outer transformation. Whoever would like to change the world must begin with himself. So this card is, again, speaking not only to Leia, but to anybody else here. This is a very powerful card because this card is kind of like really inviting us to be able to like check in with ourselves and to be able to ask ourselves, like, where do we feel insecure? Where do we feel like we maybe, I don't want to say just like doing it wrong, but not giving the type of love that is actually going to be able to heal our insecurities versus merely just putting a band-aid on them, versus merely just kind of like drowning them in fantasy, so to speak. And this card, at the same time, this is a very like humbling card because I think it's something that we all relate to. This is a challenging world. This world like you don't come into this incarnation without moving through shadow, without like working through any sort of trauma, without working through any sort of healing. But the other part of this card is to understand that it is through your healing that you come into your power, and that it's not just your healing that is taking place, but it is actually the healing of the collective. And one thing I'll just say that relates it directly to this card, yet also in other cards as well, in other contexts, is the idea, and this is such a powerful idea actually, the idea that like whatever you're healing within yourself, you are healing it because you as a soul are brave enough to have agreed to heal it. Because what you are healing is not just something that you hold within yourself, but is actually something that is a part of the collective. And what you are doing is that you are actually transmuting it, is that you are actually growing through it. So before you like came into this incarnation, you know, like the universe was like, okay, like here's what you're going to accomplish. You're going to be an awesome artist. You're going to do this. You're going to do this. And then after that, there's like a checklist of like traumas that you volunteer to be able to help assist healing with, and you check those off. You signed up for that. You agreed to that, not as a way to punish yourself, but because you're brave enough to do it, because you're strong enough to do it, because anything that you are working through, anything that you are healing through, you are healing not just for yourself, but you are healing on behalf of the collective in a very humbling and serving way, in a way that is like helping heal it for the collective. So the subconscious must be brought to the surface in order to bring the subconscious drives under control of the conscious mind. So this is really also about being able to kind of like check in with ourselves and to be able to see, to be able to be aware, be like, okay, like what are my habits right now? Which habits are serving me? Which habits are holding me back? Which habits are not balanced? Which habits are not healthy? And what is driving them? Is it, again, you know, like sometimes it's like, it can be a very complicated thing. And I'm not like trying to say like I'm an expert when it comes to being able to like heal like every single piece of trauma. But oftentimes like the trauma in itself is something coming from a place where it is actually us asking for more love. It is actually like anytime that we have like some sort of trauma within our body, that is actually basically another way for the universe to indirectly say to you, hey, send more love here. So if you like feel yourself like feeling like you're just like, like you're questioning your worth, you're questioning your value, you're questioning the idea that like sometimes like your value is defined by how other people see you and everything like that. And if suddenly like your worth is like becoming dependent on external circumstance, then you're actually giving away a part of that power. And so what that is actually saying to you is that in order for you to like feel more loved, that comes from you loving yourself. But at the same time, it is also vital to be able to receive the benefits of community, and for us to be able to help support each other in this process. So one of the things with this card that I really see, and this may be like very relevant for you, Leia, for anybody here, is also this idea that as much as this card may be speaking to us, the individual who's receiving it, this is a card that's also reminding us that other people are going to be going through this too. That literally every single person has some sort of trauma, some sort of thing that they are healing through. And we as community need to do our part to show up and to hold space for each other's healings. Again, the cups has a lot to do with the emotion, has a lot to do with the emotional aspects of ourselves. And again, kind of like with the cup, it's interesting because it is kind of wine, right? Like, and so when you think of wine, in the right context, wine can kind of be used to kind of bring out the spirit. It can be used for celebration. It can be used for like open-heartedness. But in the context that is not fully conscious, but more so subconscious, it can be used to intoxicate, to disconnect, and to drown ourselves in fantasy. But in the process of doing that, we're only kind of like, again, the problems become the solutions. And sometimes it's only when something kind of becomes a quote unquote problem that we are actually able to address it, that we are actually able to get honest with ourselves, to get real with ourselves, and to be able to say to ourselves, do I want to continue this? And do I want to be able to help myself? And know what? One of the most important ways to be able to help yourself is to be able to ask for help. One thing that a lot of people have trouble with is asking for help because they feel that there's shame in doing that. They feel that, and again, that's a lot to do with like the way how our society is set up, right? Like our society does not do overall a very good job of helping people deal with things like addiction and helping deal with things like substance abuse and isolation. But again, the way how to be able to like, often people talk about this, like Gabor Mate talks about this, that it is not actually like the cure for addiction is community. It's connection, and that's what people want. People are actually longing for connection. So instead, for us, instead of like just like always kind of like, turning to something that's just going to intoxicate us and disconnect us and fuel our dopamine, we need to start becoming addicted to other things in our life that are actually going to nurture our soul, that are going to increase our vitality, and that are going to continue to help move us forward and become less dependent on those other forms of like irrationality and fantasy in sort of like a negative context. And so, for example, like let's get addicted to things like good food, like exercise, like sunlight, like taking walks in nature, like having meaningful connection with friends and meaningful conversations with people, with doing things like free hugs, with doing things like cold showers, little things like that, doing things like dancing, doing things like creating art. And to be able to do that, you can uncover the hidden, you can uncover the subconscious, and you can allow itself to be expressed. So one of the things that would be like a call to action with this is to just kind of really be able to check in with yourself and just be able to say like, how am I feeling? Where am I feeling a little bit like there needs to be more love sent there? And to write it out, to journal it, to talk to yourself, to talk to someone else, to allow yourself to bring these subconscious things to the surface. Because again, a lot of times, and it's unfortunate that it is this way, a lot of times people like, there'll be some sort of subconscious thing inside of them where they're just like, oh, I know there's something there that I need to deal with, but I'm not properly equipped to be able to deal with it, or at least I think I'm not equipped, and therefore I'm going to do something simple like drink wine, turn to cannabis, get high, and kind of numb myself because I'm not really in a position where I want to be able to like deal with like the subconscious aspects of myself that do need love, that do need attention. So again, it's kind of like with inside each and every one of us, there's kind of like this inner child. And the inner child, if it's like wounded, then it will kind of like, it will cry, it will ask for help. But for us as the adult, depending on our relationship there, we can either show up to that and be able to listen and be like, inner child, like tell me what's wrong. And then the inner child will be like, oh, you know, like I just want to be like amongst other people who understand what I'm about. I want to be able to like feel my worth and feel my value and to be reciprocated. But if we don't listen to that inner child asking for help, then oftentimes like it just continues to prolong the inevitable. But oftentimes we as adults will just kind of like mask that, again, just with intoxication, just with, again, like the symbolic image of the glass of wine here. So this is kind of like the idea that with this card, and I'll just talk about this for a little bit longer and we'll kind of like switch gears here, but this card is basically, one of the things it says is that if we continue our destructive habits, and I don't just want to say destructive habits, but more like our like the parts of ourselves that we're not giving the attention to that we need. If we just continue to not give attention to our subconscious who is asking for help and showing up in our life in you know, things like vices and addictions and just like destructive behavior and things like that, then eventually it gets to the point where it basically turns into a quote unquote rude awakening. And so we don't have to wait for it to get to that point. And again, this isn't just speaking to ourselves. This is actually speaking to the role that we play in other people's life. And this is why call to action here, it's so important for us as community to be able to check in with our friends. Literally just ask them and just be like, hey, like, you know, like, how's it going? How are you feeling? Do you want to go for coffee sometime? Do you want to talk? And you have no idea, like, you know, someone might be kind of like going through this subconscious loop for months and months and months. And then one conversation over coffee might just like totally change the way they feel. And then after that, they're just like, oh, like, thanks. I needed that. And what did I need? I needed love. I needed connection. Love is the ultimate medicine when it comes to like healing the subconscious wounds over time. So again, with this, what arises from the wish to change one's perception allows itself to be used as a tool for inner and outer transformation. So if you're seeing that there's like parts of the world that you want to be able to change or that you want to be able to see differently, it comes from you doing the inner work. It comes from you being able to do the inner healing, but also again, you being able to like understand that it's okay to ask for help. And it's okay to be able to like help others because we are all through this journey together. The contact with the higher self creates deep trust. That's the other thing in this that I'll just hit upon this and then we'll get close to wrapping this up so we can get right into our next reading. Deep trust from the higher self. To understand kind of what I was saying earlier, that anything you are carrying, and I say this to you, Leia, to anybody listening to this, anything you are carrying it because you are strong enough to carry it, because you are strong enough to be able to heal it, to be able to transmute it. You are wise enough. It is like a gift that you are unraveling over time, and your story becomes important. Your story becomes an inspiration for others. Your healing becomes a catalyst for others' healings. Through your experience of doing your own like work on your subconscious, you develop the gift of empathy. And that empathy gives you the gift of being able to understand others so that you can serve them as well. And this way, instead of people having to like constantly go through rude awakenings, we can kind of like see the situations before they get to that point and be able to help heal them as they arise. And that is something that we want for the future generations, right? We don't want our kids to kind of have to go through like trauma that is unnecessary, right? We do want challenges. We do want healthy stress, such as cold showers, but we don't necessarily want unnecessary trauma. And so it's up to us to kind of be the eyes of the universe, to be aware of each other, to realize the state of the world that we're in, and to realize the call to action of how important it is for us to be present, to be listening, to be able to like hold space for others, so that they can know that they are loved, so that they can know that they have connection, so that they know that they are meaningful and that they are valued and that they are worthwhile and what they have to share is important, and that they are here to be more than just their story, to be here to be more than just their past, to be here to be more than just their trauma. You are here to be a healer, to be a conduit of that trauma. In order to meaningfully transform life, man needs a vision which can be realized on all levels of existence. And becoming aware of his inner divine spark, man can become a co-creator in the divine order of life. So what vision do you want to be able to create for yourself? Leia, I say this to you, I say this to everyone. Check in with yourself. Where do you want to be in a week from now? Where do you want to be in a month from now? You know, give yourself those targets. Give yourself those objectives and move forward from there. So this is a very powerful card. And Leia, I saw your comment. Your phone's about to like run out of battery. So we'll just wrap it up here. And Leia, let me know how this resonates with you. Again, keywords: illusion, unconsciousness, transformation, irrationality, fantasy, visionary thinking, imagination, dreams, trance state, visualization, uncovering the hidden, unprocessed feelings, subconscious longings. Betrayal of self, escapism, false hopes and ideas, intoxication, loss of reality, but also sobriety as well. So this is a very important card to just remind ourselves that we don't have to wait for those rude awakenings in order to be able to get the message, in order for us to be able to like see what needs to be done. We need to constantly be checking in with ourselves, to be checking in with others, and to be able to like understand what can be done. And what can be done is by showing up, by being present, by showing up as a community, by holding space, by giving love, and by teaching others how to be able to do the same. So there we go. 7 of Cups there. Super, super powerful card. And yeah, definitely I'm sure a card that resonates with all of us on some levels, because again, every single one of us came into this life to be able to like heal through trauma, to heal through shadow. Again, there's nothing that you are carrying that is by accident. You are carrying it because you are strong enough to carry it, because you are strong enough to transmute it, and to allow yourself to see that you are brave. You are brave as a soul. The souls that are here to do the most work are often the souls that will go through the most shadow, but that is because you are strong enough to do so, and that you are here to help lead the way. So be that light, be that alchemist, be that wizard that you are. Pay attention to your subconscious, pay attention to where you're moving into, pay attention to the vision that you have for the future, and manifest it by doing the work, by sending love, and by asking for help, and by connecting with others and assisting them as well. Awesome. Leia, leave your comments down below and I'll read those real quick. Leia says, I've had this subconscious loop you're talking about, and now it's sparked. Well, I was transformed into this shift by conquering harsh obstacles of addiction and looking within myself. The only thing I never stopped with was cannabis. So it's crazy you got to the intoxication card. I had to go into rehab twice as a young girl at 18 years old, and I'm 20 now. Leia, thank you so much for sharing, like just opening up to that vulnerability through the story of this card. That's very, very powerful. And again, you know, like even something with cannabis, again, like oftentimes it's not like the cannabis or the wine itself isn't the quote unquote like bad thing. It in itself is neutral, you know, just speaking in a general sense, more so just to like cannabis and wine. We'll just use those examples. I'm not talking about like harder things here. But in that context, again, it's like, how do you relate? How do you relate to how you use those, right? So again, like cannabis, when used with intention, can be a very serving thing. It can be an ally, but it all comes down to the relationship and to the moderation, and to make sure that you're using it consciously opposed to unconsciously. What is your intention when you use this? And I'm not just saying this to you, Leia. I'm literally saying this to everyone, right? Because how many people will just be like, oh, sweet, it's the end of the day, and I'm just going to like smoke weed and like probably not do some of my responsibilities. But at the same time, if you're like, yo, I'm gonna work with cannabis and like really allow this to be like a super present moment, so I'm like doing art, or maybe you're doing it to be able to like intentionally relax and things like that, but not doing it in an irresponsible way, that can still be okay, right? So again, it's not just the wine, it's like how we relate to it and how we check in with ourselves, and to be able to ask ourselves, is it serving us or is it just satisfying us, you know? And so ideally we want it to be able to like be something that can be both. It can be like a little bit of a celebration, but it can also be something that can be very powerful as well. So Leia says, but it's been on my mind a lot quitting weed because I want my third eye to be more open and less clogged. Yeah, absolutely, Leia. And like, that's the thing, totally. Like with smoking cannabis, 100%. Like if you're smoking cannabis, that is going to affect things like your dream recall, things like that. And even just like your meditation practices and stuff. So yeah, I think it's definitely worthwhile to like practice mitigating how much you smoke cannabis, and I say this to everyone, so that you can experience like the high of the sobriety, you know, the high of being able to like remember your dreams and writing down your dreams and being able to like be super present in meditation and everything like that. So super powerful card. And Leia, thank you again. And for anybody else here, Vanessa says, amazing way of explaining the process of us being spirits within a human experience. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you again, everyone. I'll do my best to read some of the comments. Yo, Silamon, thank you so much for joining. Deanna, thank you so much for joining as well. Deanna, good to see you here again. Deanna, let me know if you received your Light Guardian Crystal okay, because I shipped that out a few weeks ago. GTM says, you're killing it with these words, dude. So true. I'm supposed to be working on something. LOL. Wow, okay. And GTM says, I've been there, Leia. 10 years ago, I changed directions and never looked back. So again, Leia, like what you're going through, you're not going through it alone. And just to know that like community is always here, is always present, is such a powerful thing. Again, I think that's what when people kind of like lose their way, is when they kind of like, again, they kind of they have to go through it alone, and then it gets harder. But when we're in this together, when we're in this as tribe, that's when we heal together. And again, for some of us, it's going to be, some of us are going to be the ones like, you know, literally going through the trauma, and then other times some of us are going to be like the person holding space for the person going through the trauma as well, and just being very patient with that process. Yeah, Leia says, I feel my brain feels full of smoke. It makes it a little harder. I have to go now. Thank you so much. I'll be private messaging you. Leia, thank you so much as well for adding your support to the Patreon, and for being present, and for sharing our story. And again, your story that you're sharing here is very, very relatable. So thank you again for your strength, for your vulnerability, and for continuing to move forward with love and inspiration and inspiring others as well. So thank you so much, Leia, and we'll keep in touch. Beautiful. Okay, so that's the 7 of Cups there. We'll take I'm just going to take an image of that, because I'll send that to Leia afterwards as well. And then anybody else here who would like to be able to get an image of this card, let me know, and I can send that to you through Facebook as well. And we'll get right into our next reading, and our next reading is for Kaylee. Kaylee, if you're still here in the chat, drop a comment on YouTube, and we'll get right into your next reading. And so again, for those of you who may be here for the first time, thank you so much. If it's your first time here, drop a 222 in the chat. Again, this is a tarot reading marathon. We're going to keep doing as many tarot readings as we can up until 4 p.m. today, and then I'm taking a break, and then we'll be back at 6 p.m. today. Our objective is to be able to provide awesome value for the community, and also to be able to invite more people to support on Patreon. So if you're tuned into this, and maybe you're brand new, but maybe you've like known about my work for a while, please consider supporting on Patreon when you can, because again, you supporting on Patreon, not only does it support me, it supports the community, but it also supports you as well. Because when you sign up on the Patreon, you'll be getting more exclusive content that I'll be releasing as well, including the option to be able to like join as a leading member. So even for Kaylee, for you, and for anybody else interested, I would highly encourage you to consider looking at the $11 a month option, and to learn more about becoming a leading member. That's something that's like super exciting. And again, it gives you the option to not only get a Lumerian Light Guardian Crystal, but also to be able to join on our future broadcasts, and to be able to connect with other aspects of our team project, including like the areas of like our team chat that are exclusive for leading members. And it's also being able to have access to me for media consultation, to help assist you in developing your media skills, and to help you in reaching a wider audience and publishing your content through the project. So Kaylee, I'm not sure if you've thought about like, you know, like creating content and things like that, but if that's something that you're thinking about, again, definitely when you have time, let me know if the leading member is something that you're interested in. And even if you might just be interested in like the upcoming open mic jam, let me know, because I'm totally flexible with things. And even if you just want to start off with where you're at the Patreon, and to be able to get your foot in the door, let me know. But either way, make sure that you stay in touch, and send me a message on Instagram when you get a chance, and that way, so we can just stay synced up. But I'll message you on Instagram as well, or sorry, on Patreon as well. All right, so as we're doing this broadcast, we're gonna get right into this next reading for Kaylee, who is one of our newest Patreon supporters. And again, as we're doing this, inviting anybody else, we'll do the next reading for the next person to sign up on Patreon. And for anybody who's on Facebook, please continue to share this broadcast. We're at about 4 people tuned in on Facebook right now. And I'd love to be able to boost that up a bit so that we can invite more people to join in. So if you are tuned in on Facebook, please feel free to help share this broadcast. And I'm actually just going to post the link for the Facebook into YouTube. So for those of you on YouTube, go ahead and if you can, if you're literally on a desktop, go to my Facebook, share the broadcast off my Facebook wall into a few groups. Like if you can do that, like that's super, super appreciated. So again, think of this as like, we're like orchestrating like a spaceship here and everyone's kind of like pulling levers and stuff like that. And together we're like captaining the ship. So Kaylee, thank you again for your support. Let's get right into this next reading. So again, for those of you who may be here for the first time, go ahead and check out the Patreon. You can sign up for that in about 3 minutes, and that's a monthly micro contribution. And when you sign up there, you get lots of awesome value to support the work that we're doing for the community, and you will be the next person that we do a reading for on air. So we've got 2 signups so far during this broadcast, and our objective is to get 10 signups by the end of the day. And we'll keep an eye open on another Patreon sign up as we go. And allow me just 1 second just to take like a 10-second break, and then we'll get right into Kaylee's reading. So beautiful. All right, thank you again, everyone. Let's do a quick little intermission here. If you guys want to leave a comment, where are you tuned in from? Let me know. For those of you tuning in on Instagram, swipe up on my Instagram story to tune in on YouTube. So Savage, thanks so much for tuning in. Appreciate it. Skullair, thanks so much for joining in again, fellow. We got quite a few Patreon supporters tuned in right now. All right, so let's get right into our next reading. So again, our next reading is going to be for Kaylee, our newest Patreon supporter. Thank you so much, Kaylee. Thank you so much, everyone. If you would like to be the next person that we do a reading for, go ahead and sign up to the Patreon, add your support. Only takes about 3 minutes to be able to sign up, and that's with a monthly micro donation. And when you sign up, you can also get a super beautiful Light Guardian crystal as well, or a Lumerian one at the $11 level, plus other cool rewards, perks, and benefits to support you on your journey. So, Kaylee, let's get right into this reading. Thank you again. You guys are awesome. I feel your support. Again, like during this broadcast, like I know you guys can tell, like this takes energy, right? Like this takes energy. So like by the end of today, like I'm gonna be buzzing. So thank you for like sending me lots of love as we're doing this. It is definitely appreciated. All right, we got people tuned in from New York, Arizona, Boston, broadcasting here from Ontario, Canada. Kaylee also in Ontario, Canada. Go Team Canada. All right, everybody here, let's just drop into our heart space. Take a few breaths here, add a little bit of a sway. Drop your heart into that space of gratitude. Just be grateful for being in this moment, for being present, for being here on this planet. Like, oh my goodness. Do you know how many souls are like waiting to be here on Earth right now? We are very privileged. We are very, very, very fortunate to be here in this experience. So just be in this space of gratitude, and Kaylee, inviting you to just bring in that intention of show me what I need to see. And repeat that to yourself through your heart a few times. And after you take a few breaths, type now into the chat, and I'll charge the deck up as we do that. And so once again, with every single breath, the portals open for us to become our best. Shifters and light guardians, we are here to transcend illusions of separations that are between us, my friends. For we are family and we are tribe, and we are here to spread our wings and fly oh so high. And through our story, we inspire others. We unite the love between us as sisters and brothers, as one tribe of the heart, here to change the world through our art, here to take our stand and to do our part. Now, says Kaylee. Beautiful. What do you think? Did we pull the exact same card that we just pulled? Imagine. That'd be hilarious. No, we didn't. I'll tell you some really funny stuff about like sometimes when I've done tarot readings where it's just been like so synchronistic. I'll do that in a second. But anyways, the next card that we have for Kaylee. Very, very beautiful card, Kaylee, for us to be able to pull. So thank you for helping pull it. This card that we have pulled, take a second, check in with your mind, check in with your heart. I want to see if you can guess it. Last call. If anybody wants to guess the card, go ahead and guess it right now. Check in with your psychic. This is psychic training right now. I'm telling you what it is with my mind. And I'm going to tell you what it is right now. So, so this card that we have pulled for Kaylee is, that's right, you guessed it, the Empress. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so give me 2 seconds here. I'm going to open up the book here. Thank you again, everyone, for joining in. Byru, thank you for joining in. The readings that we do here, they're collective community readings. I don't answer questions specifically from the chat. And if anybody else here in the chat sees people asking if they would like... Wait, Kaylee, did you guess it? Yo, Kaylee, did you guess it? Like, I know there's a delay on the chat. Kaylee, if you guessed it, that's like... You're probably like shifting your pants right now. I think Kaylee actually guessed it. Oh my god. I think she did. That's insane. Yet not surprising. Whew. Synchronicities are ripe right now. You guys feel that? That's awesome. Sorry, Dallin. The synchronicities are off the chain right now. Okay, so Beirut, if you would like to be able to get a reading, you're welcome to sign up to the Patreon. That's how people get the readings on air. But we also do readings out of the chat for people. Wow, Kaylee, you actually guessed that. I am incredibly, like, not surprised, yet surprised at the same time. So for anybody who just tuned in, I have to explain this. We literally just, like, didn't show the card. Kaylee, the person we're doing our reading for, who just signed up for the Patreon, I asked anybody, I'm like, guess what card it is, guess what card it is. And I like sent the message, and then Kaylee literally guessed it. And the card is the Empress card. So holy cow, Kaylee. Kaylee Stardrifter, living up to her name. My goodness. All right. Cool, cool. She did, 100% she did. So awesome. All right. So here we go. Whew, let's get right into this reading. So again, as we're doing this reading, we'll keep an eye open for the next Patreon supporter. So again, as we're doing this reading, if you would like to be the next person that we do a reading for, to be able to get some super synchronistic message, go ahead and check out the Patreon as we're doing this reading. Again, that's at patreon.com/Brendan Culleton. And when you sign up on there, you can sign up with a monthly micro contribution and get other cool things. Sign up at the $11 to become a leading member in the community, and also get a Lumerian Light Guardian crystal opposed to just a regular quartz Light Guardian crystal as well. So let's keep an eye open for that next Patreon supporter. And thank you again, everyone, for your support. Keep sharing this broadcast on Facebook, and let's get right into this message. Kaylee, wow. Whew. All right, this card is obviously for you. So, and for those of you on Instagram, swipe up on Instagram and tune in on YouTube as well. All right, here we go. Thanks again, everyone. If you're having fun, just drop some 1111s in the chat. All right, so for everybody here, if you are here, this message is for you. So thank you for being here. Let me explain first. Image-wise, what do we got here? Beautiful, beautiful image. We've got this beautiful image of like this like very majestic, transcending female being in kind of like this like almost apparition-like form, spectral form, ghost-like form. And you can kind of see she's like relatively transparent. This beautiful kind of like robe on, her hair kind of coming down behind her, and standing in front of like these like plants, and this beautiful kind of like almost like Moorish bog behind her with some mountains in the background and some stars in the sky, and these beautiful whites and blues combining together. Very, very, very beautiful, beautiful card that we've got here. Thanks for dropping those 1111s in the chat, everyone. Awesome. Sweet. Other people were thinking like similar card for when they were guessing it. We'll do that from now on. I'll see if you guys can guess it, because I want you to practice your psychic training. For those of you who are here for the first time, thank you so much. Drop a 222 in the chat if it's your very first time, and let's get right into this next reading for Kaylee, our newest Patreon supporter. And we'll keep an eye open for the next Patreon supporter as we're doing this reading. So if you would like to be the next person that we do this reading for, go ahead and sign up for the Patreon, add your support there, and ask me if you do have any questions, just let me know. And we'll keep rolling as we go through this. So again, our intention, provide awesome value, invite people to support on Patreon, and level up as a team. Here we go. So Kaylee, as we're reading this, inviting you to just be present in your heart. This message is for you, anybody listening. Number 3, the Empress. The image. Apparently above all earthly things, and yet holding the fertile landscape in her lap. The devoted being of the essence of femininity extends far beyond her own boundaries. Meaning, from the connection with the pair of opposites, the mind is realized by projecting its expression through the essence of the soul. What up to now has existed as an idea and took on form through the power of fantasy now becomes factual in a manifestation of material reality. The mystery of life, which expresses itself through the manifold, constantly renewing forms of life, manifests in every single being as well as in the entirety of all displays of nature, be it in the microbe or the galaxy. Everything that exists independent of its form is an expression of one and the same life. As the human being tries to be authentic through the personification of her original inner truth, she manages to transform from creature to fundamental essence. I'm going to reread that. As the human being tries to be authentic through the personification of her original inner truth, she manages to transform her creature to fundamental essence. This same power which serves nature and reveals itself as inexhaustible richness in a variety of life forms lies dormant as a creative potential in everyone. Reread that. This same power which serves nature and reveals itself as inexhaustible richness in a variety of life forms lies dormant as a creative potential in everyone. In the individual, it is revealed as adaptability, inventiveness, or creative expression. The irresistible charm of nature as presented in the colors and forms of flourishing life practices its individual pull on various creatures, with the goal of nurturing the current of life with fertility and growth. In spite of all the magic and the enticement that the elegance of blossoming life exudes, it also contains the consciousness of constant presence in the eternal circle of birth and death, as well as the necessity of bearing the consequences that the endless cycle brings. Astrological classification: Moon, Venus, Taurus. Keywords: creative potential, anima, sensibility, adaptability, artistic expression, creative effect, development, courage, naturalness, embodiment of inner being, truth, life-affirming attitude, planetary consciousness, cultivation. Traditional meaning: fertility, growth, female power, sensitivity, connection to the earth, power of nature, new birth, beauty, female attraction, seduction, maternal. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Give me 1 second here. I just want to be able to... Okay, beautiful. Okay, good. I just wanted to be able to run a quick search on the definition of anima, just to be able to make sure that I'm explaining it properly, because that is a very important part of this card. So this is a very, very powerful card to be able to receive. And so again, we pulled this card not only for Kaylee, but again, for anybody who's listening. And now we're going to go into a little bit more detail for this reading. Just a quick response. Vanessa, you're asking about signing up on the Patreon. If you sign up on Patreon and it's not during a broadcast, you can also get a private reading. So keep in mind that is an option. So you can sign up anytime and we can do a private reading, and the private readings can go more in depth because then it's like a voice chat and then we can chat together. So the Empress card, this is such a beautiful card to be able to receive. And so again, this card is a card that runs parallel with the idea of the Emperor card as well. And so the Emperor card, like, what is that? That is about like being able to like lay down foundations, to be able to like stand for the community, to be able to like foresee the future, to be able to like create the conditions ripe for things to be able to grow. The Empress card is kind of, again, the yang to the yin, the other side that creates the whole. And the Empress card is so much, whereas the Emperor card is about kind of like going outwards. The Empress card is about going inwards and becoming innately in tune with what it means to carry that feminine energy inside of us as an archetypal energy, as a universal energy that is so essential to all of our growth. And so a big part of this is about being able to connect with the senses, of being able to nurture that feminine energy, of being able to turn inwards, of being able to adapt, of being able to study and learn from the lessons of nature and how to be able to apply that to our life, to our own creative journey, to our passions as well. So this card, for you to be able to receive this, Kaylee, this is a very powerful card that again is like reminding you of the Empress archetype that is already inside of you and that you are continuing to exude naturally. And I think that's kind of like the power of like receiving a card like this, is that it's reminding you that like this is you simply being you, and all you have to do is be who you are and you will be the Empress. By you being authentic, you will be the Empress, because you are a conduit, you are a carrier, you are a catalyst for this energy. And this is such an important energy because this is very much the energy that can help lead others, that can help others see the divine feminine within their own being, within their own heart. And so again, some of the key words in this is really about being able to connect with our creativity. So this card is like really calling us into that benefit of being able to continue to express, continue to write our poetry, continue to share our songs, continue to make our art, continue to dance, continue to bring forth that like tribal essence, that tribal intelligence, that innate way in which the leaves will continue to grow and branches expand and flowers bloom. That comes through your movement, that comes through your expression. Like again, it's kind of like I just kind of get reminded of almost like the forest spirit from like Princess Mononoke, where like it like touches things and flowers blossom. And the Empress can do that as well. It can touch someone else's heart and it can blossom something inside of them. It can literally nurture it. Literally, where you walk, things will grow. And not to do it in a way where it's just like, I'm so cool, look at me, I'm the Empress, like I'm such a badass superhero, like hyper intelligent, like super woke person. But no, it's more so like I carry this energy with humility and with duty and with responsibility, because this is not about me being recognized. This is about me helping others recognize the Empress within themselves, recognizing that energy within themselves. And so again, this is a very important card that really calls forth that higher conscious idea. Like this is a card that even though some people are kind of waking up to it, there are some people that are kind of like born with that awareness. They're kind of just like already naturally there. It's just naturally a part of like their expression at this time. And if it is, again, it brings forth that sense of responsibility, where if you know that you can make a difference to help shift consciousness, then you have the responsibility to make a difference to help shift consciousness. And how do you do that? By the embodiment of inner being, of inner truth, by having a life-affirming attitude. And so this card also brings forth, and Kaylee, let me know, like as we're saying this, please feel free to leave any comments as this resonates and to have a conversation back and forth. But again, this card also like brings forth that like ancient knowledge of the cycles of life and death, and to understand that each is essential, that each is a part of the bigger circle of life. Like it's not like the cycle of life and death, it's just the circle of life, which contains life and death. But even death is life. Again, it's more just like a transformation. And so the Empress has the awareness of understanding that like things are meant to blossom, but then things are also going to atrophy. And where things atrophy, like meaning where things kind of like run their cycle, where they might decay, it makes room for new growth. It brings fertility into the soil. It allows more things to be birthed out of the experience from the past. And so with the Empress card, it's really kind of like honoring this process of helping things move through seasons, of helping things like blossom. And then as they kind of like go through an experience, you know, you kind of like make room to kind of like clear out whatever needs to be cleared out. You let the leaves fall, you let them turn into mush, and you let that become new growth for that next season, for that next cycle. And so again, this is a very powerful card That has a lot to do with cultivation. That has a lot to do with understanding how things are birthed into this reality, and how things, again, are birthed through the gestation process, even the gestation process of ideas, of creativity, of being able to understand. And I'm sure, Kaylee, you can understand this, that like ideas in themselves, it's not like you just have it one day and then it's out there the next. Sometimes you'll have an idea, and what is that idea? That idea is like a message from consciousness. It is actually like a mission from consciousness, where it's like, hey, here's something that we want you to create. And then your job is to not necessarily rush out and do it, but to allow it to sit with you, allow it to be held in your heart, allow it to be carried in you like a child. That is like one thing that we do. And again, I'm speaking to Kaylee, but I'm speaking to anyone, because any of us embody the Empress card as much as we are aware of it. But again, with ideas related to art, it's also about being able to understand that we carry those ideas as we would a child. That projects, entrepreneurship, business, creative projects of that scale, community events and things like that, we carry those inside of us and we birth them over time. We carry them so that when the time is right, they will be ready to be brought forth into the material world. Prior to then, they are formulating inside of us. We are working on them inside of us, and then slowly it comes out into the world. And that's kind of the thing, right? Like, the flower doesn't just like, you don't just put a seed in the ground and then next day the flowers blossom. Like, there is a process, and it is honoring the process. It is honoring the patience. It is honoring the state at which things move from one state to the next, from seed to flower, from idea to manifestation. So again, this is such a powerful card to really just acknowledge that you, Kaylee, for everybody listening to this, you are here to birth things. Be them children or be them ideas, be them opportunities, be them visions, be them, more love, be it community events. You are here as a powerful creator and leader to help bring things into form, to help be that bridge. Again, kind of what we were talking about with the Princess of Cups, of like that bridge between higher conscious ideas and physical reality, from higher conscious ideas and mainstream culture, and create that space. Create that story where others can see the Empress within themselves, the creative effect within themselves, the courage within themselves. So again, key words in this: embodiment of inner being, truth, life-affirming attitude, planetary consciousness, cultivation, fertility, growth, female power, sensitivity, connection to the earth, power of nature, new birth, beauty, female attraction, seduction, maternal. So even with this, it is also, again, just kind of like reminding us that like a big part in this is about being able to learn from the earth, spend time with the earth. When you spend time sitting in nature, you are sitting with yourself. And that is a powerful idea. A lot of people don't even think about it that way. They think, because again, they kind of like in this illusion of separation, they go out there and they're just like, I'm just going to spend time to just kind of like, sit by the river. But when we are down by the water, when we are down and by the trees, when we are in the forest, we are sitting with ourself. And what you can do, Kaylee, and for anybody listening to this, is to get good at listening to yourself. The mother, the Empress, the wisdom of the earth speaks through you. She is your guidance. And what you are doing is learning how to listen, is learning to ask what is needed, and learning to be able to answer those questions over time. So again, just kind of like wrapping it up here, this is a very powerful card that again just calls forth the awareness of being able to see things from that microcosm axiom of as above, so below, and to bring forth this knowing into our everyday life, into the way that we carry ourselves, into the way that we treat others. Suddenly the way we treat others is how we would want to treat ourselves. Everyone is kind of like that bodhisattva, is a reflection of yourself. You see others as you. The Empress is like the mother who sees all of us as the mother, all of us as the mother and the child of the mother. It's very, again, like fractal of it. So like even the child is the mother in that sense. So the ideas that we are birthing are the mother. They are what is needed. So I'm just going to read some of Kaylee's comments. And for anybody else, please feel free to like leave your comments in the chat of how this resonates with you. And for all the Empresses listening to this card, for all the females listening to this card, and all the males as well, knowing that we have the Empress inside of us, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for carrying. Thank you for caring. That's interesting that the word caring and carrying is such a common thing. Thank you for carrying all that you carry. The wisdom, the truth, the love, the internal insights that are helping people see who they are, the compassion, the art, the creativity, the ability to hold space, the ability to bring art into this world. It is bigger than you may know. And by you carrying it with intention, you bring forth the ability for others to be able to carry it as well. I imagine a future where more and more people are embodying this. They see themselves as not just the Empress, but they see themselves as divinity. They see themselves as the divine, as like the female element of the divine, while at the same time understanding that there is also the Emperor element inside of us as well, which is another thing that is a whole different, like, again, kind of add on to what we're talking about here. But as much as this is about like embodying the Empress, the full story is how to be able to switch and balance between the two archetypes of the Empress and the Emperor at the same time, and to have them dancing, but to understand the value of one and to really just like focus on what you are naturally called to. So female empowerment is such an important thing, because we need that. We need that softness. We need that compassion. We need that understanding. We need that connection with nature. We need that opportunity to be held, to be nurtured, to be reminded, to be loved, to be able to like cultivate experiences that are going to change the way that we not only see ourselves, but see the world as well. So the same power which serves nature and reveals itself as inexhaustible richness in a variety of life forms lies dormant as a creative potential in everyone. So out of this, Kaylee, for anybody here, see this as a call to action to be able to nurture the seeds inside each and every one of us that speak truth, that speak the wisdom of nature, that speak the wisdom of the heart, that speak the wisdom of the Empress, and to nurture them, to water them with love, and to know that each and every single one of us carries these seeds, and to know that by your example, you help invite others to bring forth that blossoming, to bring forth that growth within themselves, so that they can be able to see themselves as the Empress over time, and that they can continue to grow into this. So again, the like, seriously, like women are the true leaders of this world, like 100%. Like, yes, it does go hand in hand, but like if I had to say, like, you know, like what came first, male or female, the answer is female. Like, female came first and then male came afterwards, so that we could like breed and things like that. But again, it's kind of like a mixture of the energies, but definitely the females are the ones that connect us back to ourselves. If it was pure male energy, we would just move further into separation over time, inevitably. The Empress energy, the female energy, brings us back. It brings us back inward. So again, you can kind of see, like, the male energy sends us out. It sends us out to explore new realms. But the further we go out, the more likely we are to forget where we came from. Whereas the Empress is kind of like the energy that kind of like reminds us to come back, to remind us to come back to like where we are within our heart, and to connect with that wisdom as well. So such a powerful card, such an important card, and such a relevant card in today's day and age, especially when you think about like, what is the earth, what is Mother Earth asking of us, right? Asking us to be able to like turn inwards and to listen to that wisdom that is speaking through us, because that is the wisdom of the Empress, of the Mother Earth. So I'm going to read some of the comments here. For anybody else, if this resonates with you, drop some 1111s in the chat and leave some comments about how this resonates with you, and anything that you want to be able to just like add to the conversation as well. Kaylee says, that's beautiful. I love what you were saying and deeply resonate. I have been very connected with nature and have graduated animal Reiki recently and started animal communication course. Wow, Kaylee, that is so cool. Also letting go of some detrimental areas in my life. Very important, Kaylee. Again, kind of the changing in season. That's okay. Again, allow like the past to fuel the future, right? And Deanna says, women empowerment, art and dreams. Absolutely. So connecting again with this, listening to the dreams, listening to the intuition, listening to that creative expression, like the flowers, allow us to like express our creativity through the infinite fractals of like what nature can create. You look at nature, there's so many different flowers, like that versatility comes through our expression as well. Each and every single one of us is our own unique mandala, is our own unique flower blossoming as well. So super, super cool. Awesome. Thank you again, everyone, for joining in. I know there's some local London people who are tuned into this. Shout out to Kendall, Tap Potentio, Charles. Thank you so much for joining in. super appreciate everybody being here. And I'll just mention again real quick, but if anybody has any comments, please feel free to leave those in the chat about how that card resonates with you. And again, that's the Empress card. And Kaylee, just real quick, Kaylee, are you on Instagram? And if so, I can send you the image of this card on Instagram as well, so that you can read it for yourself afterwards. And thank you so much, Kaylee, for your support on the Patreon. Again, that last reading was on behalf of Kaylee, but on behalf of anyone tuning into this. And that was thanks to her signing up on Patreon as well. And so we'll keep going from here. We'll take a quick little intermission, and then the next reading that we will do will be for the next person who signs up on Patreon. And again, that's at patreon.com/Brendan Culleton. And that's a monthly micro contribution. So again, our objective during this broadcast is to be able to provide awesome value for the community by doing these readings, and also to be able to invite people to support the work that not only I am doing, but what we are doing as a community on Patreon with a monthly micro contribution of $3, $5, $11, or $1 million. It is all incredibly relative. So honestly, like, someone could sign up for $100 and I would be like equally grateful if they were, even if they had like signed up for $5 or $3. It's all incredibly relative. And thank you again, everyone, for your support. And again, when you sign up on the Patreon, you can also get a beautiful Light Guardian crystal as an additional pay what you wish contribution, meaning that you could sign up on Patreon for like a few dollars, and then you could send me a message and be like, hey, I would like to get a Light Guardian crystal for like $5. Or even $1 if you want to. That additional contribution helps pay with shipping. And yeah, and that's like with the agreement that you'll continue to contribute ongoing to the best of your abilities. But hey, if you ever need to put your contribution on hold, it's totally flexible, and I'm totally understandable of that as well. And again, when you sign up at the $11 level, you can also get one of the Lumerian ones. And the Lumerian ones, like, some of these will sell as high as like $100 as well. And again, these Light Guardian crystals are exclusive items that I hand make with love. They're like a blueprint that I brought forth from the higher dimensions, and they're tools to be able to help assist us with our shift in consciousness. And each one is like a little mini Excalibur, a little mini lightsaber. Like, these are encoded with like ancient Arthurian magic. Like, basically, spoiler alert, but for those of you who are curious, like, I'm basically kind of like a reincarnation of like Merlin's apprentice in some way or another. Or maybe I'm like Merlin's clone. I don't know. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not, maybe you are. But either way, there's some definite magic that's like coming through with this stuff here, and I'm super happy to be able to share it with you. So even if you want Light Guardian crystal, let that be an incentive to sign up on Patreon. Thank you again, Kaylee. Kaylee says, thanks for the great magical readings. Yes, I will message you on Instagram on soon. Thank you, Kaylee, as well. GTM says, awesome stuff, man. As always, things I needed, reminders of, and some new theories and principles and perspective. Beautiful words. Thank you, GTM, as well, for your support. And any other comments, I'll read those in the chat. Dana says, hi, I'm so happy I'm here. I would love a reading to draw for me. And, oh, okay, sorry, I was reading that as if it was going to be a comment on the last reading. But thank you, Dana. Thank you for joining in. So what we'll do here, we're just going to take a quick intermission. We've been broadcasting for about 2 hours now. We're going to go until 4 p.m. And then this is a marathon broadcast today. So our objective is to get as many Patreon signups as possible. Our objective is 10 Patreon signups. So if you're tuned in right now and you would like to be able to jump the line for a Patreon, for a reading on air, and we've done 3 so far, and they've all been awesome. And again, the feedback we've read out loud, and thank you again for your feedback and testimonials, has been wonderful. And the synchronicity of this is like super powerful how this works. Yes, so white, so wolf. I know, like, so you are Merlin. maybe we'll see. I know, half Jedi, half Spider-Man, half Merlin. How many halves is that? Jeez. 100% Merlin, 100% Spidey, 100% Jedi, right? So anyways, I may need to step away real quick just to kind of stand up and stretch. Actually, I'm just going to do that right now because I've been sitting down for a while. So anybody here listening, we're just going to take a quick intermission, and we'll keep an eye open. And again, we'll do a next reading for the next person to sign up on Patreon. So thank you for your support. By you signing up on Patreon, it helps us continue to do these broadcasts for more people in the community. And if there is no one signed up on Patreon in the next like 6 or 7 minutes, then we'll do a reading right for someone out of the chat. So that way, so it keeps it fair for people tuned in. And if you would like a reading out of the chat, all you have to do is share this broadcast and stay tuned for the additional instructions as well. So give me 2 seconds here. And yeah, like I said, I'm just going to stand up and get a little bit of a stretch going here. Whew, like seriously, it's hard work. it's hard work doing these readings, like in an exciting way, but I'm sure you can understand there's a lot of energy, even just from the fact that I'm like talking a lot. There's a lot of throat chakra activation happening here. So let me get some tea actually. I got all my tea here. I got my tea. I got my smoothie. I'm all geared up. So Kaylee, yes, this video is on YouTube, so you'll be able to go back and check out the recording 100%. And Kaylee, thank you again. Like literally just Kaylee, how did you stumble across this? Was this like, did you find me through Instagram? How did you find this? Just out of curiosity, if you're not in a rush to head out. Because Kaylee literally just joined, signed up for the Patreon, and got a dope reading. And thank you, Kaylee, as well. All right. Thank you, Charles. Great work, Spidey. Keep planting those seeds. Thank you so much. All right, I'm just going to stand up for a second here. If anybody here wants to like join me in standing up, please feel free. Hi, Dallin. It's okay, buddy. You can sit. Alright. Maybe I'll just do the rest of the broadcast standing up. We'll see. Actually, I'm gonna use one of my massage wands to give myself a little bit of massage. So alright, so if anybody is in the process of signing up for the Patreon, let me know. Like I said, otherwise we can do a reading from the chat once we get at least like 10 more people joined in on Facebook Live, and then we will do another reading out of the chat. So if you would like to be able to help us get up to 10 viewers on Facebook, go ahead and share this broadcast and stay tuned for the additional instructions, and we will do another reading for someone from the chat, unless someone signs up to the Patreon and helps us through there, and then allows them to jump the line. So if you want to like take a roll of the dice, that's totally cool. But if you can support on Patreon, that is super, super appreciated. Kaylee says, Percival sent me the link. Extra amazing because I wanted a reading today. Awesome. That's sweet, Kaylee. Thank you, Percy, as well. Percy is one of our Patreon supporters as well. Whew. And so again, reminder with the Patreon, the donations process November 1st as well. So even if you sign up today, the donations won't process till September 1st. And the donation amounts on the website are in US as well. And again, if you want to join in as a leading member, go ahead and sign up at the $11 level. And we have our open mic jam this coming Sunday as well, which is going to be super exciting. So thank you again, everyone, for joining in. Get some big stretches going. Excuse me. Alright, Dallin, how are you doing, buddy? Enjoying that fan? Yeah? Good boy, buddy. Alright. Okay, I'm just gonna like step away and just go wash my face real quick. And then we will get into another reading once we've either again got a new Patreon sign up or have at least 10 people tuned in on Facebook. So we got about 6 or 7 people tuned in right now. So if you're just watching this, go ahead and drop a 333 in the comments. Just let me know that you're here so that you're in the chat. Your engagement in the chat is super, super appreciated. Don't have a heck of a lot of room to do lightsaber spinning right now. This lightsaber like turns pink when the battery goes like a little bit low on it. It turns pink and then eventually it turns red. So Percy said hi, by the way. Hi, Percy. Thanks for joining in. So again, if you're tuning in today, note that we're going to be doing another live broadcast at 6 p.m. today as well. So again, this is like a marathon broadcast, and our objective is to get at least 10 Patreon signups during today. So again, if you've been following my work for a while, or if you're brand new, be sure to check out my Patreon, and you can sign up there in about 3 minutes. And that's a super dope way to support all of the ongoing media work that we're doing for the community. So even for people in London, like I want to get downtown and do some more free hugs soon. We got like the construction's finishing up downtown, so I want to like spend more time downtown doing free hugs. Okay, give me 2 seconds. I just gotta walk away and just wash my face. But again, for those of you tuning in on Facebook and YouTube, just drop a 333 in the comment. Just let me know that you're there, and we'll take a quick little intermission, and then we will get into our next reading. either once we have a new Patreon sign up or once we have 10 people watching on Facebook. So give me 2 seconds. Thanks again, everyone. You guys are amazing. Hi, Dallin. Yeah, I'll take Dallin out at 4 p.m. So. Oh yeah. Okay. So you're. What are your plans? Oh. Okay. Hold on, Dallin. Good. Very good. Okay. All right. I'm back to my broadcast. Okie dokie, we are back. Thank you again so much, everyone, for joining in. Whew. Okie dokie. How's everyone feeling right now? Oh, this is fun. Again, this is work, but it's like fun work, and it's helping other people too. So. All right, so for those of you who are tuned in right now, what we are doing, we are going to get into our next reading, and the next reading will either be for the next person who signs up for the Patreon, or once we get 10 people tuned in on Facebook, then we will do a reading for the chat right out of Facebook. So, and again, even if anybody is signed up on Patreon already, note that you can always update your Patreon pledge, and that can count towards a reading for the team as well. So if you're already signed up on Patreon and you want to add like a couple extra dollars there, totally welcome, and that will be a way that will count towards the next reading that we do for the community. All right, and just restarting the broadcast here on Instagram. For those of you watching this on Instagram in the future, swipe up on my Instagram story to tune in. Man, this is like the most I've like done broadcast wise before, like in one day. Like seriously, like this is gonna be again, so like 12:30 to 4, 3.5 hours, and then 6 till 9:30, 3 hours. So that's like 6 hours of broadcast. So that's a lot of Brendan for one day. So all right. Kaylee, thank you so much, Kaylee, for updating your Patreon pledge. Literally having just signed up. Kaylee, we'll keep in touch, and we'll get synced up, because I would love for you to be able to, if you're interested, join in for the Synergy Circle open mic this Sunday, and to be able to sync up with the team chat. For those of you who haven't yet, please feel free to join our team chat on Discord. I post a link for that as well. So thank you, Kaylee, for updating her pledge. She updated it to the $11 level, which gives her the option to connect as a leading member within our Paradigm Shift Central community, which has all sorts of cool perks and benefits. So what we can do now, we can actually, Kaylee, with your permission, we can actually choose to do a reading for somebody out of the chat, and then we will do another reading after that, either for, again, the next Patreon sign up, or we can kind of like wait a bit and do one for like someone out of the chat. So Kaylee, are you cool? Can we do a next reading for someone out of the chat, thanks to your generous contribution update? And that would be super appreciated. Oh man, my shoulder, like my back's kind of sore. Like that's the thing, man. Like doing these broadcasts, like physically, like it's like work on the body. Like I don't know, just like sitting and everything, which is why I gotta use my massage wands. I make these, by the way. These are like crystals that I like turn into massage tools. Oh, get those pulmonaries. All right. So, just waiting for confirmation from Kaylee. What we're gonna do We're going to do a reading for, yes, okay, perfect. Thank you, Kayla. We're going to do a reading for someone right out of the chat. And the way how we do this, these are the instructions. So let's work on getting 10 people tuned in. Actually, you know what? Okay, cool. We actually did just get a new Patreon sign up, so that's super, super awesome. So what we can do the next reading for the next person, Anna. However, if after Anna, if there's a little bit of like a gap between Anna's reading and a new sign up, then we'll do another reading straight out of the chat as well, and then we'll just go from there. So thank you, Anna, wherever you are tuned in on. Please feel free to let me know. For those of you tuning in on Instagram, swipe up on Instagram on my Instagram story to tune in on YouTube. Ooh, yeah, my shoulder's sore. Like, I don't know. Like, I think it's just sitting down. That's why I need to take a break at 4. And I got hockey later tonight. So thank you again, everyone. I'm going to update the on-screen info. That literally puts us at 130 Patreon supporters. So thank you, Anna. Anna, once you're back online, leave a comment in the chat and we will see where you are, and we will do the next reading for you. And Kaylee, thank you again as well. Like I said, we'll make sure that we forward that next reading as well. Cool. All right, so just updating the on-screen information there. So thank you again to our recent supporters, to Anna, Kaylee, Leah, and Murray as well. Thank you so much, everyone. Your support is like super, super appreciated. And again, like, your support on this is not only helping the project, it's like helping me work towards manifesting the dreams that are inside of me, in terms of like doing things like being able to travel more to make more awesome content for the community. So like me doing this and inviting people to the Patreon, like it is literally me doing, like, answering the call of what is needed. Because again, this is like me evolving as an entrepreneur, which allows me to do more work for the community, which allows us to increase our global impact as a team. So it's super, super awesome. Morphic Crystal, thanks so much for joining in. More or less, thank you so much. Jamie Johnson, thank you so much for joining in. Everyone, wherever you are. I'm just going to wait one moment here. I want to see where Anna is. Or was that, hold on, I think. Okay, yeah, so Anna, if you are tuned in somewhere, go ahead and let me know. For those of you on Facebook, go ahead and share this broadcast. For those of you on YouTube, it would be super, super helpful if you are able to share this broadcast on Facebook. So share it to a couple groups. Again, like literally, if you're not too busy, it is super, super appreciated. Oh, Anna, okay, Anna, you are on Instagram. Anna, thank you so much for tuning in on Instagram. Anna, can you do me a favor? Can you tune in on YouTube? I'm asking you if you can. If you can't, that's okay. But if you can, that way, so I'm talking to one camera. Otherwise, I'm talking to Instagram and on YouTube at the same time. So Anna, before you jump over, can you jump over to YouTube? And if so, comment in the chat. And to jump over to YouTube, you swipe up on my newest Instagram story and then like open it up on YouTube, or go right to Skull Babylon on your desktop. So Anna is right now on the Instagram. So we're just taking an extra second here, and that gives me a chance to drink my smoothie. Like I said, no, seriously, like this is work. I appreciate you guys holding space. Like, have you ever seen like psychic people at like readings and stuff like that? Like by the end of the day, like they are exhausted, right? Because you have to think of it as kind of like electricity flowing through, right? So you can understand that like even you know, like any sort of electrical machine needs time to kind of like refuel its electrolytes and stuff like that. That's what we need as humans, just refuel our electrolytes. All right. So we are going to do this next reading for Anna. After that, if there's no other Patreon signups right away, we'll do a reading right out of the chat. And again, that will be thanks to Kaylee as well. So hang on tight 1 second, everyone. So real quick, everyone, what are you dressing up as for Halloween? I want to know what you're dressing up as for Halloween, if you want to share. I feel like I would love to see someone like dress up as an archetype from a tarot deck. You know, be like, oh, I'm the Fool or something like that, or like I am the Empress or something. You could dress up as the Empress and people would just be like, are you Mother Nature? Like, what is this, right? So awesome. All right, so Anna, just keeping an eye open for your comment on the YouTube and just giving a moment there for her to jump over. Again, for anybody else here who would like to be able to get that next reading, you can sign up on the Patreon and we will do the next reading for you. And we've gotten 3 Patreon signups so far during today, and our objective is to get 10 Patreon signups by the end of the day. Cindy, thanks for joining in from snowy Colorado. Beautiful. So Anna, if you are just tuned in on Instagram, just let me know. Like if you're only tuned in on Instagram, that's okay. We can manage that, but just let me know where you're tuned in from, and once I know, then we'll get right into the next reading. And in the next moment, I'm just going to take a second here, just kind of like close my eyes and breathe. Beautiful. Okay. So once we get up to 5 Patreon supporters, we'll have the option to do some readings from the Lightworker Oracle deck. So for anybody who wants to like help us like reach that little milestone, do that. And sign up for the Patreon. We'll open up the Lightworker Oracle deck. Yay! Anna made it onto YouTube. Welcome, Anna. Thank you so much. Everyone say hello to Anna, our newest Patreon supporter. Thank you, Anna. And Anna, again, I'll message you through the Patreon with more information. If you would like to get a Light Guardian Crystal for an additional contribution, that is totally an option. And again, reminding you and anybody else that if you would like to update your pledge to the $11, then you can also get involved as a leading member in the community. So thank you again, everyone, for your support in all forms. And yeah, let's get right into this next reading. Just reading some of the comments real quick. GTM, go as a Sasquatch. Please go as Sasquatch. Actually, that would be really great. If I go to another Halloween party, I feel like I should go as Sasquatch. I'm sure some of you saw my costume as Masato Katsuragi from Neon Genesis Evangelion. Alright, let's get right into this next reading. Anna, let me know if you are ready for this reading, and we will do that. And thank you again, Anna, for your support. Whew, it's great. It feels great to be able to like have the support from people. Again, some people have been following me for like years, like literally years on social media, which is like so humbling, like straight up. I feel like we're family. So that shout out again to Ashley, Anna, GTM, Cindy, Kaylee, if you're still tuned in, Jamie Johnson, Morphic Crystal, more or less, anybody else tuned in, Cindy tuning in. Oh, Cindy, you jumped over from Facebook to YouTube. That's why you're on both. Okay. Thanks, Cindy. All right, let's get right into this next reading. Anna, just type, okay, you're ready. There's the comment from Anna. All right. Thank you so much, Anna. So again, we're going to do this next reading for Anna. And okay, we're good. We're still live on Instagram. So we're going to do this next reading again for Anna. And as we're doing this, if anybody wants to jump in the line for the next reading, again, either sign up on the Patreon, or if you're already on the Patreon, you can always update your pledge if that works for you. And we'll keep going. And if there's a bit of a break, then we'll do a reading for someone right out of the chat as well. So, hey, Cindy, I'm just glad you're here. I don't care where people tuned in from, as long as they're somewhere. Oh, Siri, what are you doing? You're listening to my voice right now.
I don't know what you mean by, hey Siri,
I'm just glad you're here. Oh, that's cute.
How about a web search for it?
That's what Siri heard. Siri literally heard me say, hey Siri, I'm glad you're here. Aw, isn't that cute? Like, as if like Siri's like, nobody says thank you to Siri, you know? Like, not enough as you would have expected. Oh, which reminds me, I have to put up a funny video that I filmed yesterday of me hugging a tree. Stay tuned for that. All right, Anna, let's get right into this next reading. Thank you again, everyone, so much. For those of you on Facebook, share this broadcast if you're able to, and we'll go right into this. So welcome, everyone. If it's your first time here, drop a 222 in the comments. Anna, our newest Patreon supporter, thank you so much. Inviting you and everyone here to just connect with your heart. And oh, you know what? We did get another Patreon supporter, Dana. Thank you so much, Dana, for signing up on Patreon. We'll do the next reading for you as well. So thank you, Dana, as well. All right, so we got Dana and Anna. Is that correct? I'm not like, yeah, okay, good. We do. We got Dana and Anna signed up back to back. That's hilarious. All right, so give me 2 seconds. I'm just gonna update the on-screen info, and then we're getting right into this reading for Anna. I'm glad that us doing it at this time allows different people to tune in. So thank you to Dana. Let's give it for everybody here. Give a big thank you to Dana and to Anna as well for adding their support. Thank you so much, everyone. All right, you guys are awesome. I love you guys so much. Like huge just like appreciation and gratitude. All right. Okay, let's get right into this reading. So again, if it's your first time here, we're going to do this next reading for Anna, but again, this is like a collective reading. So if you are here, this message is for you. So Anna, inviting you to connect with your breath, connect with your heart. And just breathe here for a second. Just relax, roll your shoulders a little bit, add a little bit of a sway, a little bit of a dance. Breathe into your heart. Beautiful. And so just bring yourself into the space of gratitude, Anna. Everybody here. Gratitude again, just honoring this ceremony that we are creating, this sacred digital space. Bringing forth that intention for us to be able to receive messages from the universe. This is literally us talking to ourselves in a very, very inspiring way to be able to cultivate inspiration, clarity, motivation, to assist us on our journeys of shifting consciousness, growing as humans. And I invite you to bring yourself to the intention of show me what I need to see. Very simple, but very, very powerful. I want you to repeat this within your heart as many times as you wish. Take a few more breaths, take your time, and when you are ready, type now into the chat and we will pull the card for you. And I'll do a little bit of poetry, flowetry to charge up the deck. And so we are the ocean in a single drop. And even though sometimes it seems as if we have forgot, we are here to remember time and time again, my friend. We are here to be able to feel the tingling up the spine. Woo! That never ends. For as we awaken to our truth, we awaken to our joy, we allow ourselves to come into the playfulness as if we were children, all the girls and the boys, the inner child within our heart. We are here to express our art. We are here to change the world through the magic of taking part, of dancing our dance, of singing our song, of remembering the truth that we have known all along, that we are connected, that we are love, that we are here to bring forth the wisdom from within and above. And so, as we take another breath, keep an eye open for that now as we get ready to pull that card and to open ourselves up to the wow, for the joy of this rebirth, for the blessings of this life which comes first, for us to remember all the ways in which we can truly quench our thirst of love, of compassion, of gratitude, of satisfaction, of inspiration throughout the land, of all the ways in which we stand. So Anna, if you haven't already yet, go ahead and type now into the chats, and we shall pull a card and see what the universe has. Just take an extra moment here, waiting for that now from Anna. That deck is this deck is fully charged. Like, I'm feeling it. It is just vibrating right now. And everybody else just holding that intention too. And Anna's gonna type now into the chat, and there it is. There we go. All right. So for those of you who were tuned in last time, we're gonna try this again. We're gonna do a little thing where you get to psychically guess what card it is. So, charging it up with the Light Guardian Crystal. This is interesting. I'll give you a clue, otherwise it's going to be like super hard. This, for those of you who have been tuned in since the beginning, this card matches a common theme with the previous cards that we've had, especially the first two. So if you saw the first two cards, think about what they were, and then take a guess as to what this card may be. So Anna, anybody else, take a guess. And I know this is hard. And I think, Okay, I'll try and send out the message, and we'll just do this for a second. So, I'll give you a clue. It's a suit card, and it's a number. And the number is between 1 and 10. Beautiful. All right, so one more second for those of you who want to try practicing your psychic abilities to be able to guess this card, and I shall show you what this card is. The card that we have pulled for Anna on behalf of the team, on behalf of the collective, is the card of, wait for it, final chance to guess, Cups 9. So there we go. There's the card that we got. Give me 2 seconds here. We're going to open it up. So again, for those of you who tuned in earlier, we've had 2 cup cards already. This is our 4th reading today. 4th, yeah. And we had 2 cup cards already. And now we got another cup card. So there's some like super watery stuff going on right now, which I think is awesome. Like I'm being a Cancerian, I love the water too. So awesome. All right, we're gonna keep moving through this, and we're gonna get right into this reading. We'll keep an eye open for new Patreon signups. And for Dana, if I'm pronouncing your name right, let me know where you are in the chat. I don't see you currently. If you're in the Facebook or if you're in the YouTube, please let me know. That way, so I can just see where you are. And let's get right into this reading for Anna, our newest Patreon supporter. So thank you again so much, everyone. We're currently at 131 towards our goal of 150 on Patreon. So as we're doing this, for everyone here, just drop some 1111s in the chat just to make sure that I know you're here and I know you're listening. Drop an 1111 if you're human right now. And if you're an alien, drop a 777. So okay. All right, let's get right into this. So I'm going to just explain to you visually what the card is right now. So visually, what do we have? We have the 9 of Cups. So we literally have 9 cups kind of like in a crescent mandala with like a beautiful, beautiful like mandala. You can probably kind of see it through the image there. And this beautiful mandala kind of shining forth from what may be the moon, though not necessarily. It's more just kind of like a mandala floating in the sky. And it's above this rich landscape. You can see there's kind of like a river kind of like flowing off into the distance, and kind of like this V-shape angle of architecture kind of coming together with a few trees down below. And again, each kind of cup kind of like changes in sizes, from the big being in the middle with 4 on one side, 4 on the other side in different sizes. And again, the night sky kind of from like from lightness to darkness through the gradients of the mandala. Cool. Okay, so let's read through this together. So thank you again, everyone, for being here. And there's Dana there. Dana, thank you so much. We'll keep an eye on that in the next reading we will do for you. Thank you, Dana. All right. So for Anna, this reading is for you. But again, this reading is for anybody listening. If you are here, if you are present, this message is for you. So thank you again, everyone. I see the 777s in the chat for all you aliens out there. All right. Yo, Neil, thanks for joining in, man. For anybody on Facebook, please feel free to share this broadcast. And doing so, you are sharing the inspiration and the messages for the community. So Anna, for everybody here, open your heart and let's explore more about what the message is for the 9 of Cups. 9 of Cups. The image. In front of a deep blue sky above a landscape bathed in bright colors, a group of cups encircle a mandala. Meaning, joy of being is the expression of a positive attitude toward life with which man brings his inner world of emotions outside. As a result of turning inward, in which he recognizes the outer world within the essence of his being, his consciousness grows in the awareness that the composition of the world is an answer to inner turmoil. As one calls in the wood, it echoes accordingly. In the certainty of deep feeling and the experience of inner connection to all life brings, the individual is then able to develop deep trust. From the inner security that is experienced on a deeper level of existence, grows the easy, carefree feeling of a childlike nature, which makes possible an innocent and carefree experience of the world of the senses. I'm going to reread that. from the inner security that is experienced on a deeper level of existence, grows the easy, carefree feeling of a childlike nature, which makes possible an innocent and carefree experience of the world of the senses. The unhindered expression of joyous feeling of life not only fills one's being with an experience of intense joy, but makes it possible for his fellow creatures to participate in it also. In experiencing the material world of form as a space of resonance for the mind, the individual consciousness recognizes itself as a part of cosmic consciousness and becomes a conscious co-creator in the divine plan. As little as one should fall prey to the senses and become their slave, a forceful repression of feelings and their natural requirements becomes necessary. Rather, the focus is more about the sensory experience and the expression of feelings through which soul gives outer form their shape. The world of feeling builds the cutting edge between mind and matter. He who recognizes the beauty in things awakens them to life. By awakening them to life, he approaches his own fulfillment. I'm going to reread that last part. By awakening them to life, he approaches his own fulfillment. Astrological significance. Moon, Venus, novile aspects. Keywords. Feelings of wholeness, loving attachment, expression of life, affirming feeling, collective play, lightheartedness, nurturing awareness, sensuality, artistic expression. Traditional meaning: pleasure, zest for life, social gathering, human warmth, affection, positive attitude towards life, joy of being, carefreeness. Awesome. So this is a very, very beautiful card. And again, this is honestly like a card that I really resonate with deeply. And so for you, Anna, to be able to receive this card, and for anybody listening, this is a card that really reminds us in a very simple way of like the importance of being able to connect with that inner child, the importance of being able to nurture the awe and wonder that is innately inside of us in how we can choose to perceive the world. And I think that in itself is such an important thing, to understand that a positive attitude towards life is a choice. Now, a lot of people will think that, like, you know, it's like, oh, it's hard to be positive when such and such is happening and circumstances X, Y, Z are creating conditions of da 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 da. But your ability to be able to have a positive attitude towards life is not expected to just come from me telling you, by us just kind of like saying, be like, oh, you should have it. And if you don't have it, that's wrong. Like as if it's like something like you should be punished for if you don't have a positive attitude. No. The positive attitude towards life is something that naturally will develop when you develop a deeper understanding to the nature of this reality, and in turn develop a deeper trust, because trust comes from understanding how patterns unfold. And so when you understand that, even again, something that we've talked about before, even through the turmoil, the strife, the challenges is still growth, is still expansion. That's the thing. Like this universe, it never gives us anything out of punishment. It only gives us things as lessons. And so in that sense, can you tap in, Anna, for each and every single one of us here, into that deep inner part of your heart that reminds you every single day, even in the midst of challenges, that this too is love, that this too is beautiful, that this too is growth. Like when you think about it, again, you know, like it's funny because we as humans, when we look at our world, we sometimes measure it in a different scale than how we would say looking at nature. If we were to look at nature and you're like walking through and the seasons are changing around you, you know, it's like, say it's the middle of spring and you're like, oh, things are blossoming, this is beautiful. And then suddenly it's summer and you're like, oh my God, the weather's great and the sun's shining, this is beautiful. And then suddenly it's fall and you're like, oh my God, things are changing. Things are falling off the tree. And it's not like we suddenly say like, oh my God, this is horrific. This is horrible. Like, oh, somebody save the trees, stop them. Their leaves are falling off. Like what? Like how do you, there's an epidemic. The leaves are falling off the trees. Like imagine a news report where it's like, what's happening? Pandemonium. No, we understand that the cycles of the season repeat. And because we understand, like imagine if you were existing as like a person who is like an adult, but it was your first time seeing the seasons, and suddenly fall came around and suddenly the leaves started falling off the tree, and then you didn't know that spring was coming back. Imagine how you would feel in that mindset of being like, no, no, like this was so beautiful and the leaves are falling off. Oh my goodness. Like, and you think that it's like done forever, but we don't think like that because we know how the seasons work, and we know that spring returns, and we know that the cycles serve. And so because of this, we can allow ourselves to see something as you know, like sad as fall, as being equally awesome, as being equally beautiful, as being equally an expression of joy and love and consciousness. And again, come winter, everything's quote unquote dead. It's not though, but it just has like a different appearance to it. And yet even still, what do we say? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, because we know that it in itself is transient, because we know that it in itself is transformation. And so with that metaphor, I invite us to be able to practice seeing that in our life, to practice seeing the quote unquote fall in our life. And instead of just kind of like getting sucked into the turmoil, not to say avoid the feelings, feel the feelings, find the lessons, extract the value, but to be able to trust in the deep process of understanding that you can have a positive attitude at any point in life. You can have a positive attitude. Even when you're going through the hard things, you can still be grateful for the experience and just be like, oh my God, this hardship is actually bringing me closer to like the edge of godness, is actually bringing me deeper within my own heart. And so again, positivity is something that can be seen as a choice, but that choice is made possible as a result of deeper understanding and deep trust and deep knowing of how cycles work. And then through this, as the positivity becomes more of a choice, again, as a result of turning inward, in which we recognize the outer world with the essence of the being, the consciousness grows in the awareness of the composition of a world in answer to inner turmoil. As one calls in the wood, it echoes accordingly. So again, this card is very much reminding us that in order to change the world without, it does begin by changing the world within. If everyone swept their own doorstep, the entire world would be clean. From the inner security that is experienced on a deeper level of existence grows the easy, carefree feeling of a childlike nature, which makes possible an innocent and carefree experience of the world of the senses. So this card is really inviting us to be able to connect with that childlike perception of the world, to be able to practice cultivating the joy within our heart, but at the same time understanding that we can be childlike without being childish, that we can learn to be carefree without being careless. Learning how to be able to connect to our heart as a child by learning how to play is such a powerful thing, is such a transformative thing. And again, it's something that gets conditioned out of us. So Anna, for you to be able to receive this card, this can be a card that acknowledges the childlike like aspect of yourself. And maybe there's a part of yourself that like maybe you're just like, allow yourself to just kind of like check in with your inner child and just be like, does my inner child need more attention? Does it need me to kind of like take it out for a walk in nature and go rush through the leaves and kick some leaves around and have some fun and throw a ball around with a friend and just like play and to like feel the wind on my skin and to like get my feet in the dirt and to get my hands like against like a tree and hug a tree? Like, how are you nurturing that inner child? And as you do this, you bring in more feelings of wholeness. You nurture a part of your being. You nurture a part of your soul, and you allow yourself to connect deeper with love. And so out of this is also an expression of life-affirming feelings. This is about collective play, lightheartedness, nurturing awareness, sensuality, artistic expression. The other element when it comes to like seeing the world through a child-like perception is also about being very present in the senses. And so this card kind of says that as we grow older, again, we sometimes kind of like lose connection with our senses. The world becomes duller. It doesn't become as bright. But this is something that can be like brought back. It's something that can be cultivated. And we sometimes kind of get so stuck in our emotions that we stop seeing the world around us quite in the same way, you know? And I'm sure we've all experienced this where like some days if you're like, if there's something else going on in the background and maybe you're just like not really having a good day, or there's something else that you're worrying about, you could be at like something incredibly beautiful, but you're having a hard time connecting with it quite in the same way, you know? Like there could be like, you could be at like a dog park, but if there's something else going on, you might just have trouble kind of like connecting with that. But this card is really reminding us that this in itself of being able to be present through our sensuality, through our experiences, through our senses, is something that can be brought in as a practice. And how do we practice this? By playing with it, and by being able to create space which gives us permission and gives others permission as well. So know that, Anna, for you, by connecting with your heart, by connecting with your childlike nature, it is something that will give others permission as well. Like one of the best things, like when you think about it, if you're like babysitting a nephew or a niece, what do they love most about being able to connect with an adult? Do they want to sit down with an adult and talk about politics and talk about like money and taxes? No, like never, right? They want you to meet them on your level. They want you to be able to play with them. And so when you, as an adult, show up and play with the kids, that's a transformative thing. And not only does it give the kids permission to be able to say like, hey, this is right, I'm allowed to play, I'm allowed to express myself, but the kids actually serve the adults as well. And to be able to say like, hey, you're still a kid at heart. You're still a child like at heart. And I invite you to be able to play alongside with me to practice connecting not only with your senses, but also developing a deeper awareness of being able to see this world through awe, through wonder, through curiosity. And so check in with yourself, like really see, like, can I be more curious? Can I experience things? Can I go for a walk in the woods and like go somewhere I've never been before? Can I pretend I'm on like some sort of magical adventure and go over a hill and see a valley that I've just seen for the first time and feel like I'm in Lord of the Rings and like entering into a new part of Middle Earth or something like that, right? Like play with the fantasy of it, add in your imagination, add in the lightheartedness, and allow this in itself to come back to serving you in serving your creative expression as well. And so again, traditional meanings in this: pleasure, zest for life, social gathering, human warmth, affection, positive attitude toward life, joy of being, carefreeness. So this is a very powerful card that really reminds us, and a bit of a call to action, about the importance of play, the importance of that carefreeness, that importance of that childlike nature, the importance of community, the importance of being able to bring other people together to play with them too. And so if you have children in your life, if you're fortunate enough, if you're a mother, if you're a father, if you have nieces and nephews or sisters or brothers or anything like that, be grateful. Be grateful that you have that immediate person who you can help connect you with that part of yourself on that level. Because that is something that, again, it only disappears over time because we as adults, we don't nurture it. It literally atrophies over time. And so we need to make sure that we are feeding that part of our soul. What have I done this week to take care of my inner child, to give my inner child something that is for it, you know? And that could be, again, going out in nature. It could be like buying a graphic novel. It could be like watching a really cool movie. It could be like working on poetry, working on art, singing a song. Again, just like playing with animals, anything of this nature. It is all incredibly important, and it is serving you. It is nurturing a part of your soul that oftentimes as an adult fails to be nurtured. And when we do that, the world becomes dull, because it is through the heart and the perception of that child that we let in more light, that we see things with more awe and wonder, right? Like you could have an adult standing in front of a tree, and you could have a child standing in front of the tree, and they could be looking at the same thing, but they would be seeing it differently. And so allow yourself to understand. And if things kind of like feel like the world's like just like not quite as exciting as you wish it were to be, know that that can change. Know that you can actually bring in that practice, that you can practice cultivating your connection with your inner child. So spend time connecting with your inner child as if it is another person, as if it is a beloved, as if it is a friend, you know, someone who you care deeply about. And ask your inner child, and just be like, what do you need? What can I give you? And what do you have for me? And the inner child might be like, oh, like I got plenty for you. Like, let's go play. Like, let's go for a walk. Like, let's go out in nature. Like, let's go, like, you know, like sit on a hill and watch a sunset or something like that, right? So, again, keywords in this: feelings of wholeness, and we're just wrapping it up here: loving attachment, expressions of life, life affirming feelings, collective play, lightheartedness, nurturing awareness, sensuality, artistic expression, pleasure, zest for life, social gathering, human warmth, affection, positive attitude toward life, joy of being, carefreeness. So Anna, for you to be able to receive this card, very, very important card to just kind of like remind you of the inner child within inside of you, to keep nurturing it, and through you nurturing it, you give permission for others to be able to bring their inner child out as well. And when that happens, like, more adults realize that they don't have to take things as seriously, that they can still be carefree without being careless. And I think that's kind of the what comes with being an adult. It becomes a balance. There's a time and a place where, like, we need to be responsible and take care of things and do this and this and this, but not at the sacrifice of that inner child. And when we do both, when we nurture things, when we take care of like the foundations and still make room for the play, then we open ourselves up to like more of what this life has to offer. And again, that's what we're here to experience. What is the purpose of life? What is the meaning of life? Very simply put, to experience joy. Literally, that is the purpose of life in one way or another: to experience joy, to live, to learn, to grow, but to also experience joy as well, specifically. So every single day you should be thinking to yourself, what am I doing today to be able to invite the experience of joy into my reality? And how can I do that more? And how can I work alongside my inner child and being able to bring more of that into my life? And by being able to bring more of that into the lives of others around me and growing as community together. So, and when it comes to the shift in consciousness, again, playfulness is such an important thing. We as humans do a great job of taking things too seriously, but we need to be able to make sure that we're doing serious things in a playful way at the same time. And play with your expansion, play with your growth, play with your expression and your exploration. So there we go. 9 of Cups, a very, very, very powerful card to be able to receive there. So Anna, let me know how that resonates with you. And for anybody else, if this resonates with you, drop an 1111 in the chat and let me know by just continuing to like leave any comments in the chat as well. And thank you again, everyone, so much for joining in. This is a very powerful card, and I can send that image to anybody who would like to be able to receive that so they can read it as well. And I'm just going to do that, and I'll read some more comments as we get ready to go into the next reading. And yeah, that was a beautiful card. And again, so like the card there, like that was like another Cups card. We've had 3 Cups cards during this broadcast so far, all with like very important, powerful reminders about being able to like connect with our emotions, connect with our hearts. So 9 of Cups there. Thank you again, Anna, for your support on the Patreon. And yeah, super excited to be able to share that card with you. So all right, I'm just gonna do a quick sound check here. I just want to make sure, how's my sound levels coming through, guys? Does my microphone sound like it's popping at all? If it sounds like it's like making weird like clicking noises, please let me know, because sometimes it doesn't, and I want to make sure that it's not doing that. And if it's ever doing that, please let me know. Anna says, awesome, I was just hired today to teach technology and science to kids. It resonates a lot. Anna, that is amazing. That is an incredible synchronicity there. Man, I think my microphone is popping. Okay, I'm just gonna try turning off a filter. All right, I'm gonna see if that makes a difference on my microphone. Okay, let me know if my microphone sounds different. I'm gonna check on that. Anna, that's amazing though. Like seriously, like the synchronicity in that, like that's like off the chart. So again, like that's just another testimony to the fact that like these readings, when we have the intention, when we show up like with like what it is that we are doing here and respecting it and honoring it, the universe really allows like very powerful messages to come through at the right place at the right time. So thank you, Anna. So again, Anna, out of this, I see this as again like a valuable reminder of like what it is that you are doing. And also again like a reminder to just like keep moving forward with the intention of like being able to meet those kids where they are at and learning from them as well. And really just knowing that like by you leading as like an adult who can still connect with their heart and play, like that gives them permission to be able to like know what it can be like to grow into an adult. So you become a leader in that sense. One second, I just gotta let my dog in. Come on into. Hey, Galen. Hey, Pupper. Who's your puppy? Here, Dallin, you can say hi. Dallin, say hi. Hi, Dallin. Here. Say hi. Who's your puppy? Alright, so thank you again, Anna. And anybody else, leave some comments about how that resonates with you. Oh, I'm just gonna rub those ears. Yeah, good boy. Alright, so we can do at least one more reading, and that will be for Dana. And that reading is after she signed up for the Patreon, and then after that, I'm going to have to take my dog out for a walk. But we will be back at 6 p.m. tonight, and if anybody wants to be able to jump the line to be like the first person that we do a reading for at 6 or get a private reading, sign up for the Patreon, and then we will do that next reading for you. Okay, it sounds like the audio is okay. Like when I'm listening to the audio, sometimes you'll hear like a crackle, and if you ever hear that crackle, let me know, because that definitely is not something that I want. And it's either my microphone or it's my filter, so I switched my filter there, so it might be fixed, but we'll see. Either way, thank you again, everyone, for your support. Anna, thank you again, and all the best, Anna, with your work teaching kids about science. Like, that's exciting. That is so cool. And technology. That's really, really cool. So, Anna, if you would like to be able to connect further with the team, make sure that you send me a message, again, just on Instagram, and I can send you a picture of the reading that we got, that we just did for you, the card. And also reminding anybody here that they can connect to our team chat. And Anna, if you're also interested, know that there's always the option to be able to upgrade to join as a leading member within our community, which again is the $11, and that allows you to like join in with our team chats, with our synergy circles, to be able to get access to more of our team chat like elements, and to be able to work alongside me with like media consultation. And so again, that's for anybody listening to this, and that's at the $11 level. But again, your support is super, super appreciated on all forums. So thank you so much, Anna, for your support on the Patreon. So let's get right into our next reading again. And as we do this, afterwards, I'm gonna take a break, and then from here I'm gonna go walk my dog, and then after that we'll be coming back at 6 p.m. later tonight. So again, I'm just going to post a link for the team chat for those of you who want to connect to the team chat. That's a Discord server, and Discord is like its own application. You can access it as a mobile app or on desktop as well. And it's super easy to connect on desktop. And once you connect, you can just like kind of like be like, yo, I tuned in off your broadcast today. So beautiful, beautiful. And a reminder to be sure to follow me on Instagram as well, because I post a lot of cool stuff there. Thank you again, everyone, for sharing, for being present with this broadcast. Super, super appreciated. And let's get right into this next reading for Dana. Dana, I did see your comment there in terms of pronouncing it properly. So again, for anybody here who would like a next reading, this will be the last reading for this broadcast, because we're going to be done by 4 p.m., which is in about 30 minutes from now. But if you would like a reading either privately or during the next broadcast, go ahead and sign up for the Patreon with a monthly micro contribution. And when you sign up there, you can also get a beautiful Light Guardian crystal for an additional pay what you wish contribution. And thank you again to our Patreon supporters today. So far, we've had Dana, Anna, Kaylee, and Leia as well. So beautiful, beautiful. All right, Dana, if you are in the chat, let me know if you are ready, and we will get right into your next reading. I'm just going to drink a little smoothie here. Hey, Dallin, how you doing, buddy? We'll go for a walk in a bit, okay? You're so patient. Thank you so much. All right. So keep an eye open in the chat. If anybody here wants to leave their Instagram profiles, please feel free to drop a comment in the chat. Like, you can literally just put a comment like with your like @ sign and what your Instagram is. And if I'm not following you, I'll make sure that I follow you as well. All right. So with that said, once I confirm that Dana is ready in the chat, Dana Holiday, we will get right into that next reading. So for those of you tuning in on Instagram, thanks so much. As always, if you see me on Instagram, swipe up on my Instagram story to tune in on YouTube. And again, we are working on getting 10 Patreon signups today, and we've had 4 Patreon signups so far, which is awesome. So thank you again, everyone, so much. And yeah, let's get right into our next reading once Dana is ready to do that. So Dana, once you're ready, I'll keep an eye open for your comment in the chat. Quick shout out to Haley, to Natalia, to Brittany, to Tanya, to Neil and Catherine, and again GTM, Anna, Ashley again, not having this. Cool. Sweet. All right, let's get right into this. So Dana, if you're there, please feel free to let me know. If Dana is not here, like if she had to step away, then we'll do a reading for someone out of the chat or for the next person who signs up for the Patreon within the next like 5 minutes, and that will work out well because again, that will take us up to about 4 p.m. and that's when I walk my dog. So again, for those of you who are tuning in on any platform, if you would like to be able to jump the line for a reading, go ahead and sign up for the Patreon. It only takes about 3 minutes to sign up. And that's with a monthly micro contribution. And again, when you sign up there, you get discounts for items at the item shop. And you can also get a beautiful light guardian crystal for an additional pay what you wish contribution. And you can get a Lumerian light guardian crystal as well for the $11 up, and also join as a leading member as well. So thank you again, everyone. And again, by me doing this broadcast, I want to like inspire more people to be like, oh, sweet, like maybe I can do like tarot reading, and maybe I can like set up my own Patreon, and maybe I can like create conscious media and be an entrepreneur. So because that's a big part of what I focus on, is like being able to help support like other people and becoming growing entrepreneurs in creating conscious media as well. So if that's something that you're recently connected to my profile, make sure you stay in touch, and if that's something you're interested in, let me know. All right, so Dana, I'm not 100% sure if you're still there. Let me just see. I'm gonna just try seeing if Dana is there. And thank you again, everyone, so much. You guys are awesome. Okay. Whew. Oh man, I'm looking forward to that walk. Again, I can only do these broadcasts for so long at a time. I kind of like know my limits. But it's been an awesome broadcast. Oh, okay. Haley, Haley, is Dana there with you? Because I just need to confirm that Dana is in the chat, because that way, because like I'll need her to kind of like say now to be able to pull the reading. So Haley, if you're able to, just ask if Dana can jump in on the chats once she is ready to do so. And in the meantime, I'm just gonna take like I'm just gonna do a quick little stretch. Thank you again, everyone, for your support. You guys are awesome. Go ahead, leave a comment with where you're tuned in from or your Halloween costume. Whew. Ugh. All right, perfect. There she is. Thank you, Dana. All right, so Dana, if you are ready, just type a comment in the chat to confirm that you are ready, and we'll get right into this next reading. For those of you on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you're tuned in, YouTube, be sure to like this video if you haven't yet. Subscribe to my channels for more stuff. Especially if you're on Facebook, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube. That way so you can get direct notifications. And that's at Skull Babylon. You can see that in the top corner, that corner over there. So with that said, let's get right into this reading now that Dana is here and we are ready. Beautiful. All right, so Dana, thank you again for being here, inviting you to just close your eyes, take a few breaths for everybody here, and just connect with your heart. Add a little bit of a sway to your body, bringing yourself into that place of gratitude, a place of love, and just feeling the support of the community. Everyone just tuned in together, and everybody here, we're here to be able to help grow as individuals, to help be creators and leaders, to be able to help assist with the shift in consciousness. So as you feel this gratitude in your heart, Dana, thank you again. And I invite you to connect with that intention of show me what I need to see. And you're going to repeat this within your heart several times. and take a few more breaths. And then when you are ready, you're going to type now into the chat. And as you're doing that, I'm going to charge up the deck a little bit more. And so with each and every breath, we continue to become more of our best. As we grow, we learn, we continue to expand as we plant our feet here within this land, connecting with the roots, connecting with the branches, allowing ourselves to expand through all the lands. As we bring forth the elements, the earth, the wind, the water, the sky, we continue to answer the questions as to why. Why are we here? What must be done? What is needed? And how can we have even more fun to grow together, to expand as tribe, to allow ourselves to see the world with new eyes? And we'll wait for that now from Dana in the chats. And once we see that, we shall pull a card and see what message the universe has. The sound effects matter, by the way. The sound effects is actually like conscious code. Take another deep breath. Feel this joy. Allow yourself to be present and so much more. Continue to expand from sea to shore, allowing yourself to be so much more. Dana waiting for that now in the chat. And once we see that comment, I will synchronistically pull the card. And we will do this next reading. And everyone else, thank you again. Just holding space. So Dana, if you're haven't yet, once you're ready, type now into the chat. And so thank you every single person again for being here, for being friends, for allowing us to connect our hands and our hearts, our minds, to do our parts, to share our art, to connect with this heart, to open our minds to the stories of above, to bring forth the magic of this love. And Dana, once you are ready, making sure to type now into the chats. Or Haley, if Haley is there, if either one of you wants to type now into the chat, if you guys are multitasking right now, that's okay. Just waiting for the now, and then we will synchronistically pull the card. Honoring the protocol, honoring the intention, honoring the ceremony. And there it is. Thank you, Dana and Haley. Beautiful. Awesome. All right. So here we go. So Haley, Dana, thank you again, both of you. Are you literally in the same room, if that's the case? And thank you again. And so, ooh, I like this card. All right. So if anybody wants to, take a guess at this card, go ahead now. Though I don't expect you to be able to guess it. It's not like an easy one to guess. So charging this card up. Any last guesses? I'm going to show it to you in a second. Charging this up with the Light Guardian Crystal here. And this card pulled on behalf of Dana, for her, for the community, for the team, is Flames 6. So Flames 6, very, very beautiful card. Give me 2 seconds here. We're going to open it up and read more about what this card is about. And then again, from there, we'll go into further explanation and talk about it together. So, all right. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so thank you again, everyone, for being here. This is our last reading for this broadcast. If you are tuned in now, know that we'll be back on air at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so be sure to connect for part 2 on my YouTube or Facebook as well. And we'll keep an eye open for more Patreon signups as we go. And right now, we're just going to focus on this reading for Dana. So here we go. All right. So visually, just looking at this card, I'm going to explain it first. What do we have here? So Flames 7. So visually, we have this like a beautiful mandala up in the sky with 6 rays pointing up, down, left, right, and on various angles as well. And the colors down below, you can almost see it's almost like a fall landscape. It's not like the regular green. There's like a little bit of some tints there of kind of like the orange and the bit of yellows there as well. And you can see this like rolling landscape, and again you can see this beautiful mandala behind the sky, and you can kind of see there's like almost like the edges on here as if like the mandala is kind of like framed itself, and the mandala itself, the rays are like this like bright white, and the sky is kind of like this purple. It's not just blue, it's got like a little bit of like a violet, almost like a lavender color to it. So that's just the visual explanation of what the card is. And now let's read more about what it says in the book as well. So thank you again, everyone, for your support, for being here, and we'll keep an eye on the comments, and as things resonate, please feel free to comment as we go. And Dana, Dana, just confirm that you're still here as we're going here, and I just want to make sure that you're getting the reading, and the recording is online if in case like you drop out at some point, Dana, so no worries either way. And thank you again. All right, so for everybody here, again, reminder, if you are here, this message is for you. So thank you, Dana. This message coming forward for you on behalf of the community, on behalf of the team. Here we go. Listen with an open heart. Listen with an open mind. 6 of Flames. The image. Rising above all earthly things, a majestic 6-pointed star radiates from the clarity of the universe and bathes a pastoral countryside on earth in a state of peaceful harmony. Meaning, as a result of previous efforts, man finally reaps recognition and honor. Typical of successful undertakings are a positive attitude regarding one's intentions and the goal-oriented use of one's strength. The community recognition which brings inherent success requires double the amount of responsibility and increased attentiveness. I'll reread that. The community's recognition which brings inherent success requires double the amount of responsibility and increased attentiveness. Due to his position, man stands in the center of public events. Besides being responsible for the duties that social status invokes, his actions and characters serve as a role model for the collective consciousness. A meaningful existence makes the responsibility that is to be borne a pleasure, rather than a burden. I'll reread again. A meaningful existence makes the responsibility that is to be borne a pleasure, rather than a burden. In the centeredness of life, the security is found that is necessary to fulfill his duties. Therefore, man can let his inner strength rest in peace. The victory that comes is not due to the oppression of someone else, but due to the control over the base nature of man. Whoever conquers another has strength. Whoever conquers himself has power. I'm going to reread that. Whoever conquers another has strength. Whoever conquers himself has power. Man stands on the sunny side of life. Relative to outer success, inner life also takes on a new direction of awareness. With the increase of life quality, the qualities of the heart also increase as well, as the capacity to find and recognize outer happiness. Recognize inner happiness. Whoever recognizes the connection of his own being to the divine being on a deeper level of identity remains, in spite of the honor that is his due, modest in all walks of life without succumbing to the arrogance. Astrological significance: Sun, Jupiter, trine, sextile aspects. Keywords: initiative, goal-oriented strength, quality, leadership qualities, responsibility, satisfaction, peacefulness, collected strength, awareness of responsibility, quality of life, self-confidence, sunny side of life. Traditional meaning: recognition, honor, victory, success, fame, power, self-control, reward. Very cool there. Give me 2 seconds here. I just have to restart the Instagram broadcast in 2 seconds. This is a very, very exciting card to be able to talk about, and so give me 2 seconds as I just have to click a button here on Instagram. And for anybody here, again, if you're already like resonating with it, go ahead, leave a comment. For those of you tuning in on Instagram, swipe up on my Instagram story to tune in on YouTube, and we're good. Okay, good. Sweet. All right, so Six of Flames. What is this card speaking to? What is this saying? This is a card that's really acknowledging that, again, for you, Dana, and for anybody else listening to this, is basically saying that with great responsibility also comes great potential to influence the lives of others, to be seen, and to not only be seen by others, but for us to be able to see ourselves. And so oftentimes when we are put in situations of leadership, sometimes they can happen by choice. Sometimes it can be like, okay, I'm like applying for this job to be like the leader of a company. But sometimes life will put us in a situation of leadership. Sometimes it can even come through just like, you know, like being like a parent for a child in a situation. And sometimes it may not even be like your child. Like sometimes it could almost be like, sometimes, you know, like there may be a circumstance where like a family kind of comes into your lap, and yet you are responsible. And yet out of this responsibility, there is also the idea that this too is giving you strength, that this too is helping you discover your own leadership qualities, that this too is helping you rise into more of your responsibility. So with this, it really is about being able to remind ourselves that even in those periods of responsibility, whether we have asked for it or whether it has been given to us, it is still something that is there for us. And when we allow ourselves to rise to meet that in a place of humility, rather than a place of being like, oh, like I'm the best, like I'm like here to like get people's attention and to try and impress people. But no, the more power that you have over other people, the less it becomes about you. It is still about you, absolutely, but it also becomes the influence that you have over other people. And especially in the situation, again, like be it whatever, like be it like, again, like the owner of a company, the captain of a team, or the parent of a family. That in itself is such an important and beautiful part of human existence that is, again, there to be able to call us into more of the quality of life, for us to be able to expand our awareness beyond just ourselves, right? Like suddenly, like if you're just focusing on you, that's a lot. That can be one thing too. But if you're suddenly in the place of situation where you're responsible for other people, suddenly those other people become an extension of you. Your consciousness literally expands. They are not separate from you. They are like branches of the same tree. And so this card is kind of acknowledging that during those moments in life where we are called into responsibility, for us to be able to practice seeing them as a gift, for us to be able to practice recognizing them as something that we too, as a soul, only brought into our life because we are strong enough to be able to carry it. And that's something that I will often like say again relative to other cards, but it is a message that is worth hearing, is that oftentimes, again, you know, like responsibility can sometimes be like put on our laps, and we may not have thought we asked for it, but on a soul level, we did ask for it. We volunteered for it. We agreed to it. And through this, it is meant to serve as an initiating process. You know, I think for like people who, again, like there's like a friend of mine who I think of who, like, growing up, you know, like they had a child when they were younger. They didn't plan on that. It wasn't part of their quote unquote plan, even though on a soul level it was. And yet out of this, they have become like the most beautiful mothering person, and it's hard to imagine them being anything but that. And so like that in itself, the responsibility that we have of others is actually there not just to serve them, but to serve us as well. And for us to be able to like really understand that, again, like the fire, it is an initiator element. It is sparking something inside of us. It is allowing us to become more of who we are. And for this card to be able to receive that, it is a card that allows us to be reminded that that is like something incredibly important, that you have the strength, and inviting you into this place of being able to practice seeing the beauty of the responsibilities that you have, and to see it as a gift, to see it as a joy, to see it as a success. And so again, this is about being able to also be responsible for yourself. Because the more responsible that you are of others, you too must equally be responsible for yourself. Think of it from like someone who is like an influencer on social media. If they're a role model, they have to be very intentional with messages they are putting out, knowing that young people who are impressionable are going to be emulating them. So for us to be in situations of leadership, we constantly have to be able to be self-aware and to be able to think, what example am I setting? What lesson am I teaching? What do I want to give? What do I want to give my community? What do I want to give my family? How do I want them to not only see me, but to also see themselves? And so when you get clear on like just like more of who you are and more of what you value and more of your virtues and more of what you want to be able to pass on, that becomes very, very important, because again, it becomes like second nature, and the people around you begin to emulate that. They become like fractals of you, fractals of your example. So if we have responsibility in our lap, but if we don't take it in a way that's like mindful, if we're just like, yeah, whatever type thing, then ultimately that disconnect or that disassociation will show up in the fractal. It will show up in the community. Like imagine, like again, if you're like a leader of a community and you've got all these people, and then eventually you're just like, I don't really care, you know, like whatever. Those people in the community, what's going to happen? They're going to start feeling like they're not fully meant, like it's going to like push them away. It won't even push them away. They'll just kind of migrate on their own. And so even though there is a time and a place where you as a leader actually want people to be able to go on to that next thing, to move on, and to understand that your responsibility as a leader is not just to like keep people in one place, but to help them get to that next stage, to help get them ready for that next part of their life. And again, I see this card really reminds me of like parenthood. It really reminds me of parenthood, where again, it's like, you know, like you raise a child to the point where like that child no longer becomes like yours. Like it was yours, but it was more like your responsibility. But the child themselves was always their own individual, and you were merely helping them. You were merely helping them get ready for that moment when they were like ready to like move on into that next chapter, to leave the nest, so to speak. And so this is a really deep card that calls us into like a deeper part of love, a very particular part of love that is showing up in service. So again, the community's recognition, which brings inherent success, requires double the amount of responsibility and increased attentiveness. Due to his position, man stands in the center of public events. Besides being responsible for the duties that social status invokes, his actions and characters serve as a role model for the collective consciousness. So this card is really reminding you, Dana, and for anybody else listening to this, is to just like invite more of that attentiveness, to be extra aware of your actions, of your steps, of your examples that you're setting, and to check in with your heart and to always ask yourself, like, what's the wisest move I can make? What's the wisest move I can make moving forward? And it's okay to ask for help. Leadership is something that we don't always like expect to have all the details on. There's ways in which we as leaders can grow by investing in ourselves and learning from other leaders. So if there's like another person, like say for example, like a person who's like becoming a, like, you know, like if they're like a mother or a leader of a community, what's a good thing to do? Hang out with other mothers, hang out with other leaders, learn from them, learn from the masters that have come before us, learn from people who have this experience. That way, so you don't necessarily have to kind of like repeat the same lessons, but or even learn from the same circumstances, but you can kind of like create more grace, create more ease, create more flow. And that's totally possible. And I think that's like, again, a good sign of a leader is someone who goes out of their way to invest in themselves and to ask for help. And it's okay to ask for help. And being a leader doesn't mean that you're expected to know every single thing, but it means that you're responsible to be able to like do your best, to be able to show up in the best way that you can, while understanding that the community is also helping you grow at the same time. The community is literally there to help you grow. It's going to be there to help support you. It's going to be there to question you. It's going to be there sometimes to trigger you, but it is all there to help you grow into more of your leadership, into more of your identity, into more of your joy, into more of your ability to like understand a deeper connection of the quality of life and a deeper connection of self-confidence, and to see service, to be able to like find your purpose in service. And that is such a humility, such a humble thing. That is such a humbling thing to be able to do, to be able to give a part of our life, not to someone, but for. Like, that is what we should be doing. We should be giving our life not to, but for, you know? So you give your life for someone, for their growth. You invest your energy into their energy. You nurture them. You pour like from your cup into their cup. So this card is really, again, I think a simple part of this card is, again, for you, Dana, to acknowledge your strength, to acknowledge your potential, to acknowledge your worth, to acknowledge your own recognition, and to be able to like celebrate that within yourself, and to also, again, be able to celebrate it in others. So for the other leaders out there, recognize them, express your gratitude for them, and in return, they will express gratitude to you. And for the community, express your gratitude for the community as well. Victory is a shared success. And especially within the community, the important thing of a leader is understanding that they are all equals. Even in parenthood, the parents are still going to be ones like making decisions, but it's to be able to like see the children not as lesser than, but as equal immortal souls, like equal eternal souls. They are equally as an ancient soul as you. And so when you can treat them with respect, you can still help guide them, you can still help lead them, but you don't speak down to them. You speak like where they are at. You come to their level and you communicate to them with an open heart, with clarity. And again, that is like a practice that just helps you grow in so many important ways. So this is a very, very powerful card. And again, Dana, I thank you so much for being able to help us receive this message. And just kind of like wrapping up here, again, this is a traditional meaning on this. Recognition, honor, victory, success, fame, power, self-control, reward. So this is a very powerful card that just invites you to be able to like, wherever you are right now, you've already succeeded. You are already succeeding. There is already victory. The gifts are already in your lap. And it is how you choose to see them that allows you to be able to recognize the humility of where you're at, and to be able to like receive the reward of the present moment while still moving forward with this like optimistic, with this joy, with this love that will continue to ripple out and through the people in your life who you continue to have influence over as well, influence on as well. So keywords: initiative, goal-oriented strength, leadership qualities, responsibility, satisfaction, peacefulness, collected strength, awareness of responsibility, quality of life, self-confidence, sunny side of life. So definitely, Dana, whatever it is that's calling you into a place of leadership, you can do this. You can do this 100%. You can do this, because that is why it is in front of you, is because you can do this. So thank you, Dana. Thank you, anybody listening to this, for being a leader of themselves, and for allowing you to be able to help teach others to be their own leaders, to help others see their own worth, for helping lead community, to lead children, to lead our peers, to work amongst each other, and to grow together as a collective consciousness. So, Six of Flames, expanding in all directions with intensity and purpose. Very, very, very cool card to be able to receive. So thank you, Dana. Let us know in the comments how this resonates with you, and anybody else. Drop an 1111 if like either you're just expressing gratitude for this message, or if this message resonates with you. And you can drop a comment as well to let us know how that resonates with you. And again, like when I do these readings, I'm not doing them as like a psychic reading. This is really just, again, like a chance for us to be able to receive a message. And again, out of this, Dana, I think there's a very clear message, which is reminding you of your worth. And saying thank you on behalf of the universe, saying thank you for like helping others, and for being an influence in the lives of others, and for like literally carrying, again, kind of earlier we were talking about that Empress energy, for carrying that Empress energy with you as well is such an important thing. So thank you for being like kind of like that motherly energy in what it is that you're doing throughout your life as well. So thank you as well. And for anybody else here, go ahead and leave yeah, so we can just, everybody here is like sending some love to Dana as well. So thank you, Dana. And thank you, Dana, and Haley as well. So because again, I think from my understanding, you guys were kind of like both kind of in the reading together there. So Beautiful, beautiful. So Dana, if you're still there, go ahead and leave some comments. I'm not sure, Dana's connection was kind of spotty, so we'll wait to hear as well. Kaylee leaving the very good 1111 in the comments. Thank you, Kaylee. Kaylee, I'm glad you're still here. That's awesome. Wow. People are like sticking around for all the readings right now. That's beautiful. Very cool. All right. So with that said, that is going to be the last reading for now, unless somebody wants to sign up for the Patreon in the next like 5 minutes. Otherwise, I am going to go walk my dog. And then we will come back at 6 p.m. and we will resume this marathon broadcast to do more readings as well. So that's at youtube.com/SkullBabylon or facebook.com/SkullBabylon as well. And I'm just going to take a picture here of this card. And if anybody else wants the image of this card, message me on Instagram. GTM on YouTube says, "Thank you, my brother. You absolutely killed it this afternoon. Get some rest, man. I'll be in touch on Instagram. Still tuned in to end while working." That's really cool. I like how like people are literally like watching this like while working. Like that's so cool. Like I like how I'm like a radio station for you guys. But no, it's cool, right? Like out of this, like again, it's just like a cool way for you to be able to like receive like insight, valuable information. Sweets. All right. Wow, that's awesome. So Dana says, "Wow, amazing. That reading was like my life in a nutshell. So accurate." Dana, that's so cool. Like again, like thank you so much for like again, like that's the thing, right? Like with my readings, like again, I don't claim to be like psychic and stuff like that, but without me trying to put that label on myself, it opens me up to being able to be a conduit for information. And ultimately when I do that, I just kind of naturally call it psychic, but just call it again kind of information coming through. So thank you again, Dana, for being there and holding space for that. Anna, I can send you Anna, make sure you send me a message on Instagram and I can send you the image for that as well. Because again, I'm sure there are people here who definitely like resonated with that as well. We have a lot of females in the broadcast, so I feel like there's probably like several females there who are probably like kind of like hearing a similar message in that. So thank you, Dana, as well, and for adding your support on the Patreon. Yo, Mitch, thanks for joining in. All right, so with that said, thank you again so much, everyone, for joining in. We're going to be back at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm just going to put a couple more minutes on the clock. If anybody, like, really quickly wants to sign up for the Patreon in the next 5 minutes, it only takes 3 minutes to sign up. Go ahead and do that now. And if someone signs up in the next 5 minutes, we'll do one more reading. Otherwise, we'll take a break, and then we will be back at 6 p.m. So... again, so for the readings, if anyone's looking to be able to jump the line for the reading, they are available for people signing up for the Patreon next. And otherwise, if you tune in at 6, you can have a chance to be able to get a reading straight out of the chat as well. And Dana says, "You are not only psychic, but you are real." Yes. Thanks, Dana. The real psychics don't consider themselves psychic. Is that like... in a sense, that's kind of true. Mitch, thanks for dropping by, dude. Appreciate it. But no, that's awesome. Thank you, Dana. Dana says, "You have a natural gift." Thank you, Dana. Happy to be able to share. And thank you for your support on the Patreon. Because again, like you being here and supporting that allowed that message to come through for the team, for the community as well. So, and it's so much of it is just about being able to like recognize our value and recognize our worth and being able to like, it never underestimate how powerful it can be to just kind of be recognized, to be seen, like to just be able to have, whether it be through me or someone else or just like the cards themselves, for people to sometimes just like be seen, to be recognized is such a powerful thing. And they're just like, yo, like I haven't had that recently and my soul needed that, my heart needed that. So by us doing this broadcast, like this is literally us like kind of like sharing medicine with the community as well. So thank you again so much, everyone, for adding your support. If anybody here has Instagram, drop their Instagram into the comments, just with an @sign. And then anybody here, if you guys want to connect with each other, you're welcome. If you want other people to connect with you in this broadcast, drop a 555 into the chat. Meaning, if you want other people to see your profile and then to add you a friend request, drop a 555 in the chat. So if you're open to connecting with more awesome people, because straight up, if you're tuned into this broadcast, you're awesome. Like straight up, you're awesome. Like that is the vibration that I create during this broadcast, is to attract awesome people. And so if you want to connect with more awesome people, drop a 555 in the comment. And then that gives permission to other people to be able to send you a friend request. So, Dana says, I needed to hear that more than you will ever know. Very truly grateful. Thank you, Dana. That really means a lot to me, and I'm so happy to be able to know that it meant that to you. So very cool, very cool. And again, another successful tarot reading there as a team. So thank you everyone, because again, everyone there, like the synchronicity of it like happens as a team holding space. So good job, universe. That was awesome. All right, so like I said, we're just taking a quick moment here. If anybody else wants to sign up for the Patreon, let me know. If you want to sign up later, you can always do a private reading. And if there is anybody who wants to sign up in the next 5 minutes, that's totally cool. And otherwise, we'll be back at 6 p.m. for more tarot readings. And again, this is like our like marathon broadcast today, because we're working on getting as many Patreon signups as we can before the end of the month is our objective. Aw, that's cool. And I'm just getting another message from Leia. Leia saying thank you for the reading as well. And I wonder, Leia, was that for the recent reading or was that from the reading from earlier? Because Leia also signed up for the Patreon as well. So, very cool. And again, for anybody here on Facebook, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube if you haven't already yet. That way so you can get notifications. Plus, there's a lot more on my YouTube, right? Like, if you like the tarot readings, you'll definitely like what else I create. And I'm Mystic Spider-Man on Instagram as well. All right, so last call for anybody who wants to sign up for the Patreon. And if you do sign up like right now, we'll do one more reading for you. Otherwise, we will jump off air for a bit, and then we will be back at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So in about 2 hours from now. So that means I get to go like get some fresh air and go like hang out with my dog and eat some food and maybe jump on the treadmill for a bit. So cool. All right, if anybody's interested in signing up for the Patreon right now, just let me know. Let me know like in the comments, and we'll just hold off for an extra minute. But otherwise, we're going to wrap up this broadcast. And thank you again, everyone. You guys are awesome. So join us again. And next time I'm live, do me a favor and share the broadcasts with more people. All right, and for anybody here, make sure you send me a friend request if you haven't already yet. But when you send me a friend request, also send me a direct message too, because I do get a lot of friend requests. So that way, like if you send me a message, just be like, "Yo, I tuned into this," and then I can know. Because I don't accept every friend request because I'm already at like the 5,000 limit. All right, thank you again, everyone. I feel like you guys are still hanging out here. I feel like you guys are like waiting for an extra reading. You're just like, I don't want to leave yet. There might be an extra reading. Again, if anybody wants to sign up for the Patreon in the next couple minutes, or if anybody wants to update their Patreon, that is totally an option as well. Though I am honoring the fact that we're at 4 p.m. and we'll do another like reading right out of the chat at the beginning of the next broadcast. And Kaylee, I know we still have like an extra reading that we can work into next broadcast too, after you updated your pledge as well. So thank you, Lily. Thank you, So White. Thank you, Dana, again. Thank you, Haley. You guys are doing awesome. I love you guys. I love the fact that the majority of my Patreon supporters are females. Like, I think that's super awesome, just to be able to like feel that like support from like the feminine energy. I'm glad you guys really resonate with that. So thank you again. All right. So again, if anybody here who's already signed up for the Patreon, note that the donations process November 1st. If you want to update your Patreon pledge at any point, that is totally always appreciated as well. And when you update, there are the other options, such as the $11, which is to join as the leading members within the community, which gives you more discounts and more perks and access to me for media consultation. And if you want like future readings in the future, again, like I'm open to those, and we can like figure that out as we go. So after you've gotten this reading, and if you want like another reading in the future, just let me know and we can figure out some sort of agreement for that. So. All right. Last call. Is anybody in the process of signing up for the Patreon? Otherwise, I'm going to go walk my dog. Hey, Dallin, do you want to go for a walk? Dallin, do you want to go for a walk? Do you wanna go for a walk? My dog definitely wants to go for a walk. So we're gonna end the broadcast now. But again, for anybody who's in the process of signing up for the Patreon, if you sign up either now or later, you can always get a private reading with me. And the private readings is like video chat, so we can do like a little bit more in depth and personal. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone. So I'll post a link for my Patreon. Again, be sure to subscribe on YouTube if you haven't yet. Tune in later tonight. We'll be broadcasting for a few more hours, starting at 6 p.m. And you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. And yeah, super honored to be able to be here. I'm gonna go walk my dog, and I will see you when we get back. So much love, everyone. And I will see you in less than 2 hours. So find me here, and once we're live, share this broadcast. I want to get like 50 people tuned in, and we'll see what messages come through. So, all right, Dallon's ready to go for a walk. Dallon, you ready to go for a walk? Hey, Dallon. Watch this. Dallon, do you want to go for a walk? Let's go for a walk. Let's go for a walk. Okay, let's go for a walk. Good pupper. Good pupper. Okay. All right, so on behalf of Dallon, on behalf of myself, thank you again, everyone, so much. As always, keep it shifty, and I will see you in the future. And again, 6 p.m. tonight, we'll be back live once again for more tarot readings with Wolf Marathon. Until then, have a beautiful whatever time period you're in. Get some fresh air, and I'll see you very soon. Much love, and thank you again, everyone. And again, sign up to the Patreon and you can get a private reading or jump the line for the next on-air reading and get your cool, awesome Light Guardian crystals. Pew, 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 pew. All right. I'll see you guys soon. Much love.